Oh,
That's
baby.
true.
Nice.
You sound like Barry White.
Very white.
Very
Nice.
white.
You got a nice singing voice?
No.
Sing anyways. Here, cheers, buddy.
No. Cheers. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Here,
Can't cheers
to
with water, but whatever.
You can cheers
Yes,
to
you
water.
can.
This is America. Right? Nice. Well, thank you for coming.
No problem, dude.
Long drive up here.
I mean, I had to come up anyways.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I
Well, it
mean?
worked
So-
out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was like perfect timing.
Glad I
'Cause
reached out to you this week. It worked out.
I was trying to figure out how many more games we had up here so that I could stop in. I didn't know if Corona del Sol was closer to your house or if Desert. Obviously, Desert Vista's not.
What kind of games? Is it football games?
Yeah.
Oh,
My
your
son's
son?
my son's like #1 running back right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. He's
Nice.
killing it.
Very cool. I see pictures of him. He's got that same smile as you.
Yeah, dude, he's massive too. So
Really?
hopefully in the next year or two he packs on like another 20 pounds, cracks 200.
Wow. You think he'll be 200?
Bro, so I'm the runt of my family.
Okay.
Everybody on my side of the family is 6'3", 230 plus.
Really?
My older brother is 6'1", 320. My younger brother, who played Division I football for Eastern Washington, is 6'2", 285 right now. He's out of shape, 285.
You got fucked.
Yeah. I'm like snake venom. You don't need a lot of me to fuck your day up. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Just a little,
little
of you
bit
goes
of
a
fuck
long
your
way.
day up, bro.
Nice.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's cool. What do you...
You know what else is small, Joey?
What?
My thumb. Would you want it in your butthole? No.
Not particularly.
And that's how I tell people, like, yeah, my thumb's small. Would you
Yeah.
want it in your ass? They're like, no, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. That's
So-
like you, just in people's ass.
But yeah, dude, he's so, and then on his mom's side, she's 100% Hawaiian.
Oh, okay,
So
well.
all the dudes on her side of the family,
Thick bodied.
6'5", 265, giant Polynesians.
Wow. Huh. Those Hawaiians get big.
So if you see his thighs, they're fucking tree trunks.
Nice.
During wrestling season, his legs.
Does
that's
he
what
wrestle as well?
Yeah. So, well, he quit on me mid-season.
He's
But-
more into football.
Way more.
Yeah, that's his thing.
If I had his size, if I had my brother's size, I would have played football in college rather than wrestled. You know, but
and it's so much about you. You always like want to go against whatever your dad's doing, or usually it's just like I want to do my own thing,
Bro,
get away from what dad is.
this year was rough, and he is. It's hard for me to raise a young man that has to trailblaze his own thing, and then I can't get mad when I'm like, "That's fucking not what I." You know what I mean?
That's not the path I have
Exactly.
for you.
And it's like you're right. It's
You're a
mine,
Jiu Jitsu world champion
bro. And he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal at wrestling.
on the mats. You're saying,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
he's just.
The more you push
spicy,
something,
bro.
though, the harder they push away.
And he hates cutting weight. We all do. You know what I mean? And he's
Yeah.
like, what was happening is he's at the #1 football school in Tucson, South Point Catholic High School. Bijan Robinson just came out of there as, and then he went to Texas, and now he's the running back for the Atlanta Falcons.
Nice.
Um,
Wow. I know
so-
nothing about football.
Oh,
I can tell
cool.
you.
So Bijan Robinson's like he's the #1 draft pick out of Texas.
Okay, played at the same high school.
Played at the same high school. Van already beat his yardage his freshman year by 600 yards.
Wow.
So
by 600 yards.
I think
in a
Bijan had
season?
like 300 and Van's at like 923, 900. Yeah.
Wow, rushing yards?
Yes.
Wow. That's
Insanity.
incredible.
And then this year, he's already hit. We're 4 or 5 games in. He's over 100 yards, 150 yards every game.
What a beast.
I think the last one he had like 200 yards rushing.
Nice.
So-
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Good for you. He's got a game tonight?
Got a game tonight, Desert Vista.
Let's go.
It's gonna be dope.
Nice.
So it's homecoming for South Point this weekend, Friday. So Desert Vista travels to Tucson. We're on the road for 4 games. We were in Valley Vista out there in Surprise, which is might as well be in Guam. That place is far. It took me 3 hours to get there. 3.5 hours to get
Surprise, Arizona?
there. Yeah.
It's just an additional hour that way.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
2 hours here and then an additional hour and 15 minutes.
I'm actually probably not that far comparatively to most places in Phoenix.
No, not really. It was easy
Yeah.
to get on the 101 for whatever reason. That took me I-10, 101. Actually, it was 303, I-10, 101. Then
Oh,
a
to
bunch
get
of
the surprise.
then a bunch of surface streets all
Yeah.
the way out to that high school.
That's sad.
But yeah, dude, he's actually very, very talented in wrestling. Amazing. He's just athletic as shit.
Yeah.
And so this summer when he quit on me and we didn't talk for 6 months, 5 months.
That must piss you off. The no wrestling.
Dude, I went back and forth on it. You know what I mean? Because the only reason that I was coaching at his high school was, for him. And I explained to him, because I was like, you know what? I just want to be a fan of you. And let somebody else take over and coach you. And he goes, if you don't coach, I don't wrestle. I go, okay, cool. Mid-season, the guy goes, fuck you. I quit. And I go, now I'm committed to these other kids.
You've got a team.
I fell in love with the other kids. So I stayed through the whole season.
You adopted one of them.
You know.
Overtake your son.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. And so this summer, I got a new job at another high school as the lead assistant coach.
Okay.
And during the summer, it was just
at another high school? Why?
Yeah.
Just to like... You just like coaching and stuff?
No, they called me and they wanted a paid position. They said they needed a high-level coach to take their kids to the next level.
Now you just got to bring up the competitors, take over the team that you initially...
I mean, we're gonna stop a mud hole in them anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but we took over. Brian's been helping me all summer with our freestyle and Greco-Roman club wrestling. Have 3 or 4 different studs from all over the city. In our second year of being a club, we produced 3 All-Americans.
Wow.
I had a girl.
Tucson's got a lot of good wrestlers.
Yeah, I had a girl that won state this last year, high school state, 5A.
Wow.
5A.
Wow.
And for girls, it's all Division 1. It was all one division. So from 6A elite down to the farm leagues of 1A, 2A schools, she won it all.
What a beast.
Super talented girl. Her name's Lillian Gradius. And we took her to Las Vegas for the U.S. Open or UWW Future Stars, and she ended up taking 4th as an All-American. So,
nice.
And then our 5th as an All-American. Then we had James Armstrong, whose son's a 4-time state champion. James Armstrong Sr. ended up taking 4th in Greco-Roman.
Nice.
And then my son Jet, my youngest one, the little meatball.
Nice.
He ended up taking 2nd. So
pumping out some killers.
Three All-Americans in our second year. Brian's a 4-time All-American?
Yeah.
2008.
In wrestling?
Yeah. 2008.
2008.
Olympic trials qualifier
Nice.
for Greco-Roman. I think you lost to Shannon Slack, right?
Yeah, I lost.
I don't know why I'm fucking telling your story.
Did you guys go to high school together?
No. College. He's from San Diego. We met in college. We were actually teaching at
Ken Cherto's at Fresno State.
Ken Cherto, Fresno State. If you guys don't know who Ken Cherto is, Google him. Right, was able to see him compete at this year's Masters Worlds as an old man. He took 4th, I think, 3rd.
I don't know. You could take 4th.
Huh?
I didn't know you could take 4th.
You can't.
It's like they place top 8.
Oh, okay.
So
really?
it's not like Jiu Jitsu where
you've got a top.
There's
3.
only 3. Yeah, they play at
it.
nationals. You place top 8.
Wow.
So it is.
This is wrestling.
Yeah.
As an old man, he was wrestling.
Yeah. So they have masters for wrestling.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Huh, never seen it.
But yeah, he started this super successful chain of camps that he does because he was a world team member, right?
He's an Olympian.
So his Chertow trained camps, nationwide. I was wrestling at Grand Canyon University. I just got signed to Grand Canyon University. I think Bryan was still at.
I was just doing some wireline firefighting stuff over in San Diego.
Okay, and then
wireline firefighting.
Wildland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the reservation.
Nice.
I had just left Danaher College, and was helping out with a bunch of the Cherto camps across the country, and we met there, and
been lovers ever since.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, so we ended up getting signed to Grand Canyon University together. It was the inaugural season of GCU's wrestling season. Very, very first one. We ended up having probably the number one, I want to say it was the number 1 recruiting class in the nation. State champions from Mesa High School, state champs from Deer Valley, Tucson, Sunnyside, everywhere, right? So R.C. LaHaye was the coach at this time. He wrestled at Western Colorado and Gunnison, Colorado. Shane Carden was there. A bunch of good guys were there. They had like the number 1 track team in the nation forever because they're the highest NCAA facility in the world.
Oh, wow.
It's like 7,823 feet.
Wow.
So their cross-country team just
killer cardio.
Red blood cells are just through the roof. But anyways, yeah, so we linked up with Bryan in college, and we've been friends for 2008.
Nice.
2006.
2006.
Wow.
So it's been a long time.
Wow.
And as life does, splits us up, brings you back together. He just came back he was coaching at another school, and then his house was literally walking distance from 10th Planet Tucson. So,
oh, nice.
I'm gonna fucking drive all the way over there. I'm
Very
gonna,
cool.
Come here. So
nice. Is that when you got into jiu-jitsu?
No, I got into jiu-jitsu in like actually competing in 2018.
Nice. Very cool.
That's when I won the world championships.
Was that at Planet Tucson, or are you just training jiu-jitsu in California, or?
No, I was training down in Tucson. It wasn't at his gym.
So it was crazy. It's the gym that I started at. As I'm leaving, he was coming in.
Oh, God. Huh.
So
when did you start 10th Planet Tucson? 2016,
after my first UFC contract, last fight, my fourth and final fight.
Oh, wow.
That's when I linked up with like Coach Casey Halstead, and I did a seminar for him as a little purple belt, and like he had, Boogeyman, Richie Martinez, Splurgio, Kong, those are all Barrett, Yoshida black belts. Obviously Boogeyman, John Mateo's here, 10th Planet black belts.
Yeah.
Ruben Rivera, Nate Harris from 10th Planet Santa Fe at the time, black and brown belt. And, I met Coach Casey at UFC 177 in Sacramento when I was supposed to fight Joe Soto. And my fight got pulled. I'm sure everyone's heard the story, but brand new podcast.
I don't think I've heard it.
Okay, so I was supposed to fight. I got called to fight Joe Soto on 16 days notice in Sacramento. Ended up getting there, making weight. Everything was great, right? On my way down to the bus to go to weigh-ins, I see Sean Shelby's blowing my phone up. And I'm like, Sean, I'm on my way down, I promise. And he goes, oh, no, take your time. And I was like, that's weird. Usually like, where the fuck are you? Get on the bus. We're not waiting for you, blah, blah. So he's like, no, take your time. I'll see you in the lobby. So him and this was when Joe Silva was still there. They come up to me out of the elevator and they're like, we got some bad news. And I was like, what's up? They're like, Henan Barao fainted coming out of the sauna or out of the hot bath. And I was like, how the fuck is that my problem?
Yeah.
He's fighting TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, the only other 135ers on the card are you and Joe Soto. And I thought I was going to get pulled up because I was coming in as the MFC bantamweight champion at 11-1.
Yeah.
I think I had 9 finishes at that time.
Wow. 11-1 pro record.
11-1 pro record, 9 finishes coming to the UFC.
Wow.
So I thought they were going to say, we're going to bump you up
to
the main event. And they told me they're going to bump Joe Soto up. And I was like, I understand Joe's like a former Bellator world champion. And they're like, well, Porterville, California is an hour away. It's easier to charter 2 buses of Joe Soto fans than it is to go to Tucson and grab, 2 buses of all the Mexicans there. So they tried to match me up against Scotty Jorgensen. And at the time, I was just ready to, that this is my opportunity. So I said yes, of course. I've never seen, like, someone say no so fast. Like, as Joe Silva was walking up to Scotty and, like, looked back at me to, like, point, he was like, nope.
Wow.
And at the time, I was mad, right? Because I wanted the opportunity to fight. But what I didn't realize is Scotty was doing me a giant favor because I still got paid my show money and my win money.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
so I made, at the time, it was league minimum was 8-8. I made $16,000 to fucking...
Not bad for just showing up.
Just to show up
making
in
weight.
Sacramento.
I mean, that sucks putting your body through that, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, Dana was cool. Like, he was the one that, was like, hey, man, you said yes to Joe Soto on 16 days notice. Like, that's the kind of shit we appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
So to show our appreciation, we're going to give you a show and your win.
That's really cool. That's what I've heard, just because, like, Wonder Boy apparently was bitching recently that, I forget who he was fighting with, someone pulled out and he wasn't getting any money.
16,000 versus 270,000 is way different.
Oh, no, it is totally different. And what Dana said in response to that is that it depends on the situation. If we offer you 4 other fights and you say no to each of them, you're not getting paid.
You're not getting paid, exactly.
Yeah. So
right, and then that's where they do want a company man.
Yeah.
And I tried to be that, but then as I got older, I was like, that's not good for me.
You got to take good fights for you, for
sure. I'm 2-4 in the UFC, and I should have never said yes to fucking half of those. I should have never said yes to Joe Soto on 16 days notice, but no risk it, no biscuit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you got to put it out there.
I should have never said.
Sometimes you do never know. Like, you can always go out and put on a sick performance, and then the Monday morning quarterback is like, yeah, of course I should have taken that. That was a perfect choice.
For sure. And, Thomas Almeida at that time was 21-0 with 19 knockouts. Nobody wanted to fight him. I had just come off the knockout with Joe Soto, and they were like, do you want that fight? And I was like, sure. You know what I mean? Like, I watched Tim Gorman take him down 3 rounds in a row. Tim Gorman didn't win, but he showed an exploitation of what I could do.
Yeah.
I thought I was way
Holes
better
in his wrestling game.
Exactly.
And you're like, I could
way
wrestle
better wrestling jiu-jitsu than Tim Gorman. So said yes to that fight, went down to Brazil. That whole thing in itself was crazy. But back to how I started 10th Planet was as I was sad and fucking pouting, Coach Casey walks by, and I was like, hey man, I really fucking dig that shirt. And it was the different chokes for different folks. The Nuwaza. And he goes, oh yeah, I own this company. He said, come to the hotel room. I got one for you. So I went on there and gave me a purple belt rash guard, or purple belt t-shirt for my rank.
So people in the streets know.
Yeah, for
What's
sure.
that?
Different chokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? But he ends up calling me like 2 weeks later. He's like, hey bro, I'm doing this super sick event during Super Bowl weekend. We're going to call it Super Roll Weekend. It's 3 days, 9 different instructors over the 3 days, 3 days instructor, you know what I mean? I'm going to have a barbering, I'm going to have tattooing, I'm going to have all this fucking dope ass event at the first 10th Planet Vegas. Super small little facility.
Yeah.
He had Splurgio, who's the Barry Yoshida black belt, who's also an amazing...
Splurgio? Is that his real name?
No, it's Sergio.
Oh, okay.
So if you go, I call everybody by their goddamn Instagram name. If you guys check out Splurgio on Instagram, amazing tattoo artist. He did Coach Casey's tattoo of Eddie Bravo triangling Hoyler on his arm.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But, I felt like I had major imposter syndrome. I'm a purple belt in front of all these black belts that I know.
Teaching a seminar.
And I got the middle day on Saturday with Boogeyman. We had 90 people at our day for our seminar. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm going to teach these guys some wrestling that they already fucking know. Anyways.
Which actually, that's the move. Most guys don't do wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
Teach my whole portion. And
would you teach wrestling?
I taught double leg defense, entries to truck.
Nice.
Right? Which is just my funk style wrestling.
Yeah.
That I didn't call truck. It was to, the wrestler guillotine, banana split.
Yeah. Wrestler guillotine is a twister.
Wrestler guillotine's a twister.
Yeah.
Right? So I taught all that shit. After the seminar, Coach Casey goes, do you know that you teach 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu? You just have wrestling names for all this shit. And I go, no, I've just been... My style of wrestling was very funky. Right? So the funk was easily translatable to 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Nice.
And that's how I describe 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu to everybody. It's funk Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? It's a little bit more, unorthodox.
Yeah. That's it.
So after that, he was like super high up on me. He was like, look, dude, what are you doing right now with your MMA program? I run it out of my black belt's Jiu-Jitsu gym. I pay a third of his rent, and I have like 30 students.
Nice.
He's like, what could you do with this amount of money? And I go, we could have one of the premier facilities in Tucson. So he goes, listen, I know you got a long drive home. Think about this idea, this offer. What do you think about bringing 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu to Tucson? He goes, there's one in Phoenix, there's one in Yuma, but there's nothing in Tucson. Let's do it. And I was like, I got to run it by my black belt. I want to talk to him about it. I want to get... And he was like, yeah, sure. I already knew what I wanted to do by the time I hit Boulder City as I was driving out. I was like, fuck this. I was like, this is my time to line my pockets, create a legacy for myself, open up a business that sets up my kids for success.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got back, I had I always see black belts do some shady shit behind their instructor's back. And then everyone's like, that dude's a fucking Crionchi, he's a this, that, and
like
that.
open up a gym like a mile down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
I took my black belt to lunch. I explained the opportunity that I had. I also explained to him that I wanted to do his gi jiu-jitsu at my academy, while 10th Planet being the no-gi system.
Yeah. Right?
And he was like, on board. Yeah, sounds great, man. Let's do that. The next morning, I woke up to four-finger-long text bubbles saying what a fucking piece of shit I am, how ungrateful I am.
From him?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So his black belt then told him, like, you got to get him out of the system. Like, he can't be affiliated with this anymore.
Wow.
And just to like give you an idea, like when I first got to that gym, we were BJJ Rev. Then we became Nova Unyao, and then overnight we were Aries. And like,
so he had switched to 3 different lineages.
Yeah, you know what I mean, real quick. And so me taking him to lunch was like the most respectful way to this is what I want to do.
Telling you face to face, this is my goal, this is my dream, this is what I want to do.
And I was treated as if I did it the way that every other black belt does it, and steals his students and does all that shit and the other. And I realized that I think people are so off put by honesty and direct communication that they expect you to do it the shady way and almost respect that a little bit more.
Seems crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
I don't respect it.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I want you to tell me face to face what you're
For
going to
sure,
do.
and we've had sit down lunches since then, and we've apologized to each other and stuff. But
That's
you know,
good.
it's never the fucking same.
Yeah.
You know, you still run into goofy shit.
So you were a purple belt when you first started the gym?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
a purple belt UFC fighter that opened the gym, and you know, it was kind of wild. That's why, like,
That's cool.
when he was kind of in the scene, I was like, dude, why haven't you come train with me? You know what I mean? And he expressed that, you know, I did some shit because everybody knows I'm a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like, and I do unintentional things,
Yeah.
rather than intentional things. And now, you know, all of a sudden, you know, I said I was sorry to him, and he was like, "That's all I need to hear." And we've been fucking rocking the goddamn wrestle jitsu shit.
Nice. That's sick. Well, good for you.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I started jiu-jitsu in 2016, so I was trying to get a gauge of when you were, because I remember competing at the bullpens early.
Yeah.
I think maybe
Blue
first.
belt.
Yeah, blue belt. I was trying to think if I did one
Blue belt,
at white
Joey,
belt.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I've done at least 3 or 4
Our
of
first
them
one, we didn't touch white belts
for a while.
because you're messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, white belts are fucking messy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we did blue, purple, brown,
Yeah.
no blacks.
Mm.
Then we went back to white.
Mm.
And
That's probably a good way to do it. You know, one thing that I've realized with the Buttersmooth Fight Club is, like, if you try to get black belts, it's like they're actually the hardest to get. I'm trying to create something that's like a high level thing, but it's a lot easier to get blue belts to sign up for your tournament than it is to get anyone who's legit.
bro, it was so crazy. At the 2 brown belt tournaments that we did,
Mm-hmm.
you and me, we've almost said the exact same thing. You went on a live or you did a video the other day of like, it's fucking crazy that everyone complains about not having opportunities, and then when an opportunity presents itself,
No one wants to do
oh
it.
dog, I'm like a guest at my dog's wedding that weekend.
Exactly.
And, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
shut the
Or people tell
fuck
me, like, they've
up,
got
bro.
this tournament coming up, and this one in, you know, California, this one in Texas, this one on the East Coast. All that they're traveling, spending hundreds or potentially thousands
And
of
I'm
dollars
gonna pay
for.
you to just be right here.
Yeah, dude, just sign up somewhere local. You have the chance to fucking make money. I mean, how it works now, it's like, it is a chance. It's not like I'm just paying you to show up.
For
I don't
sure.
know how anyone fucking does that just out of the gate, but people are spending thousands of dollars for a guaranteed $0 in return. And that's not everything behind a jiu-jitsu tournament. You want to win prestigious tournaments, of course, but, you know, it doesn't come from, you know, I mean, I can't create prestige just with money. It's got to come from a long time. But if you're trying to be a paid athlete, if you're trying to perform at a high level, fucking, you know, send it at a paid tournament, potentially win some money, and then continue to fund your jiu-jitsu career that way.
Perfectly said. Right? The potential for opportunity and the guarantee of nothing far outweigh each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And do both. Like, do all of them.
And do both.
It's not like they're MMA fights. It's not, I mean, of course, sometimes you do get injured. Sometimes things don't go your way. Check your ego, tap when you're in danger, and then you have nothing to worry about. You know, I've seen active competitors that are competing twice a month, year round. I mean, that's a solid schedule. So if you're saving up your competition for this quarterly meet, I mean, what are you doing? Just fucking send it at all of them. Do both.
Well, like it's like Augie, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to use Augie and Bryan as 2 very different examples, right?
Okay.
Augie was like, Coach, I don't know if I should do Butter Smooth Fight Club because I got, you know, this tournament right after that.
Mhm.
And I go, you have to pay to do the tournament, right? Yeah. Do you have to pay to do Joey's? No? Then go do Joey's.
Yeah.
The fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
One is for free,
Yeah.
right? And the other one you have to pay.
Yeah.
But you get mat time.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian, explain your hip and shit.
So in
And your age.
so fuck you, bro. You're like what, a year younger than me?
No, I'm the same age.
Well, it shows.
You guys were talking about high school in 2004.
Fuck
You're
you.
like,
where were you at, bro?
Right, like fucking 4th
Still
grade or
watching
something.
fucking Teletubbies?
Yeah, exactly. I graduated high school in 2011.
Oh,
so.
God damn.
I think I was coaching the Massachusetts national team in Fargo that year.
Like, I think I tore my first ACL that year.
Oh, Jesus.
I think I was on my 3rd shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
But no,
You had
it's
hip
one-
problems?
I did. I ended up having to have a total hip replacement in
Oh, wow.
2021.
Hmm.
So I took 2
So how old are
years-
you?
I'm 37.
Wow, that's fucking super young for a hip replacement.
Yeah. Well, we all have our journeys, and
It does happen. I work with a guy that's maybe 42 or 43. He's had both hips replaced.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I think I think speaking of Churchill earlier, I think he's had like 4 replacements.
Who's it? Oh, Churchill?
Yeah, on
yeah,
both sides.
but
hips.
yeah,
And knees.
4 hips
And knees.
replacement.
And
Like,
you only
you
have
watch,
2
bro.
hips. How do you have 4?
4.
They fail.
2 times.
Wow, huh? That sucks.
2
That's
times.
terrible.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, so I came back and started training over at 10th Planet with Anthony, and I saw that he was getting ready for ADCCs. We have Armstrong getting ready for Greece. I'm like, I'm helping these guys get ready, and I'm feeling good. So Fight to Win came to Phoenix, and then he's like, you want to do ADCCs or you want to do Fight to Win? I was like, I'll do Fight to Win. Can't afford ADCCs.
Mm-hmm.
It's free to go.
Yeah.
You know? And then to get more mat time, I fought on the Fight to Win, and then the very next day they needed somebody for the bullpen submission.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you even did that.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I did that as well the very next day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very interesting weekend to come out of retirement.
Yeah. 2 competitions back to back.
But to use him and Augie, right, in contrast, is like this dude hasn't had a competitive match in years.
Yeah.
2-3 years?
Mm-hmm.
2 years. My last fight was Fight to Win in Austin.
Okay, so
2 in a row, 2 days in a row.
right. But that was the way of like, okay, ADCC is too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm going to end up doing these 2 competitions that could have amazing, you know, rewards just off of what the premise is. Like a Fight to Win,
Yeah.
you hit something sick, Seth is going to blow you up with
Yeah.
IG views.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And now, as much as dumb as it is, views and clicks and taps,
It means a lot.
we were talking about monetization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were talking about how Jimmy House has monetized basically every social media thing that he has.
Yeah.
From the House Strong to, you know, Jimmy House himself.
Mhm. Yeah. It's good.
Everything's monetized, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're trying to do with this, right?
For sure. Yeah.
This, Butter Smooth. Is
Mhm.
your Butter Smooth page monetized?
No.
Not yet?
I'm not sure how exactly that works on Instagram.
Bro, you can either apply for it or they
Mhm.
will send you something that says, hey,
Yeah.
guess what? You're up
And
for
do
a
you get
monetization.
paid per views though? Because it's not the same as like YouTube.
It's
like your YouTube videos they'll air an ad at the beginning of it, and then
It's
you just
not
get ad revenue from that.
It's whatever Facebook's standard is. Like I was showing him, like the most I've ever been paid is like $114. But if you
From social media,
from my Instagram videos,
oh wow,
right? So, but $114 a month is $114 a month.
yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure,
mean?
yeah.
And
And it just grows. It starts very small at the beginning. That's just how it goes.
right. So the day that he just said, "Fuck it, I'll do it because it's free," right? Master Eddie was in the building.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think I called you to come down,
Yeah.
right? So
I was drinking that morning. I already
tremendous.
I had a pod in the afternoon.
Tremendous.
Unfortunately.
So, but everybody that was on that fucking card
Mhm.
is on the fucking December show for Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. That's gonna come where? Right here, Phoenix, fucking Arizona.
Oh wow, there you
You
go.
know what I mean? And I reached out to all these badasses,
Mhm.
all these dudes that want opportunities.
Yeah.
And, oh no, bro, I can't. I got Jiu-Jitsu World League that weekend. What?
Mhm. Yeah.
Bro, Eddie Bravo's gonna be in the building.
Yeah.
And even if you do shitty,
Mm-hmm.
right, or have a lose but have a cool performance,
Yeah.
he's gonna grab you, bro. He grabbed
good
Jose
show.
Munoz,
Mhm.
right? Jose Munoz.
I saw that. Yeah.
So-
he said he invited him even though you just lost.
Exactly.
Mhm.
All those guys that participated.
Mhm.
Sometimes just saying yes to doing the thing
Mhm.
is gonna give you the reward,
For sure.
even if you don't win or if you don't perform the way you wanted to,
Mhm.
right? But answering the fucking door is the thing,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Stepping up and doing it.
For sure. So.
Mhm.
It's crazy to me that I put in the Tucson Jiu-Jitsu community or the Phoenix Jiu-Jitsu community Facebook post like,
Mhm.
hey guys, I need a girl, short notice.
So what was up with that? So you had a tournament like scheduled there, and then Eddie was coming. Or,
So we
well,
did-
how come it was like same day that you called me?
I think I called you the night before.
It was same day because I did roll for beer that morning, and we messaged, and I had a podcast scheduled with Issa that afternoon.
It's because somebody backed out last night.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
we needed
that's-
we
it was
needed
a
a
fill-in.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
needed
gotcha.
a fill-in.
We had
I mean-
3 people just
Yeah.
not show up.
That fucking sucks.
So
Same
that's-
thing has happened with mine. It's
But
like
that's
people
what
pull
I'm
out
saying,
day
right?
of
Is they
and
pull out
whatnot.
day of and like they
Mhm.
could have just shown up and got fucking paid.
Yeah,
Just like Anthony Birchak,
Yeah.
UFC 177, just show up, got
yeah,
paid.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And everybody would have had their 15 minutes of fame at
Mhm.
Jiu-Jitsu, at Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds in December.
Mhm. Yeah,
And it's like, guys, those are opportunities for if you have a shitty little sponsor right
Mhm.
now, shitty little clothing sponsor, you're going to approach them and go, hey, we're going to be on UFC Fight Pass now. We're going to be on major views.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to financially help me out this time?
Mm-hmm.
And if they go, oh my God, yeah, let's do it. Right? Or like, hey, we're still too small. We can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Then you find a sponsor that can.
Yeah.
And it only benefits you.
For
right?
sure.
Then you get show money, you get win money. However, you know, if you think you're that good, then show up. But I'm starting to find out that people are just in it for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, they want to say they do jiu-jitsu. They don't want to say, it's like, this is what I used the last time, right? Imagine you get called on Saturday to play in the Super Bowl on Sunday, or even just in the NFL on Sunday, right? And you're like, oh my God, I would love to, but I'm doing a 7-on-7 thing tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excuse
like,
me, what?
Yeah.
We're the NFL. Like, we just called you.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the NFL of our sport, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the ADCC now, but like opportunities like Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, EBI.
And it's like you said, the views is something you can monetize as well. No matter what it is, if it's going to be recorded, you can go out, try your fucking best, hit something sick, and then it goes viral. That, you know, Alex Sachs, do you know who he is?
He was Atos, right?
Yeah, he's
now
Atos.
He's fucking 10th on a Phoenix.
He hit a twister at my tournament, the first one, and fucking Eddie Bravo reposted
blew it up, bro.
Yeah, blew it up.
And that's great for you, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's great for everyone.
That guy, it's great for everyone.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, dude.
Yeah.
It's taking a chance on yourself. It's investing in yourself. He took a chance on himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Showing up at Fight to Win, that's a big stage, bro.
Yeah.
Big stage, a lot of eyes. You know, and he went out.
There's really nothing to lose. You know, if you do actually
could get hurt.
Yeah. That, I mean.
Okay, you get hit by a fucking bus, too.
Yeah, exactly. And also, too, it's not an MMA fight.
No.
It's, you know, the worst thing is your ego gets hurt. In reality, if you're in a bad position or something, you can tap and not get hurt.
You know what, bro?
It's very unlikely.
Michael Courier's a bad motherfucker, right? I put one of those in those group, and I was like, when Mike Courier just barely got here from Oregon, you know.
Just at this last fight?
No. This was like a couple years ago now. But I was like, hey, this was during the pandemic. Who wants this opportunity on Eddie's brand new formatted show? And it was Jiu Jitsu OT. It was when it was only EBI overtimes, right? And I think the finals was Ethan Krallenstein versus Keith Gregorian.
Okay.
Michael Courier ended up being Marcelo Cohen. Huge name in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, major upset.
Right? And Courier took that opportunity. He didn't win the next one, but he beat a fucking jiu-jitsu legend opening round.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's sick.
So, ever since that show, guess who Eddie calls for first rights?
Yeah.
He calls Michael Courier.
That's
so
sick.
where does Michael Courier go next? The Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds in Cancun, Mexico. Paid trip, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he ran into a fucking demon named David Weintraub, but he was still
a demon.
Got his eye cut open, but still smiling, bro.
Yeah,
because the opportunity, and that's the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And was it that bad?
Not that bad.
No, motherfucker's still competing, still owns a gym, still handsome as shit. Michael Curtis, shout out, good looking motherfucker.
You know the guaranteed way to not get any of that is to not show up.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you can't say. What I've learned is people want the opportunity to say no, right? Because I'm like that. Sick invite, dog. You wouldn't have come. I know, but I wanted the opportunity to tell you to.
I wanted the invite, yeah.
I mean? So what people do now to bullpen is like, oh yeah, they invited me, but I told them no. Like that gives them some sort of credence that they turned down bullpen.
Yeah, see, that's
right, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because if you're using it like that, then we are what you think we are.
That is good.
Right?
Nice.
So as soon as people start going, oh yeah, Butter Smooth offered me a fight, but I told him no.
Yeah.
Well, because you're a pussy, that's why.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you were a bitch.
Yeah.
Not because you are better than that. That's the biggest opportunity you're going to have.
Exactly.
Is it a major show? No, but the results of that show can put you into EBI, can put you, maybe I watch that match, and I go, I want that guy in the bullpen tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he gets an invite.
Yeah.
Does good at the bullpen tournament. Now he's on EBI. Now he's on Combat Jiu-Jitsu.
And none of these tournaments started out like the biggest fucking tournament in town. They all start out small and then grow as the tournament grows.
Absolutely.
Like it gains prestige over time. There's
For
no just creating that. I thought doing a payout would create some prestige, but it doesn't do it.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
I find out people don't want, like when I do free enrollments at the gym, I'll get no signups. Right? If I do a $99 enrollment, they're in it because free implies it's not worth anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then the inverse of why are you paying me to do this? How dangerous is this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you'd say like, hey, dude, this is a $300 guaranteed. Who's the opponent? Joy winning.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
No, that is part of it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that is how it is. It's not
You're
like it's a
giving me
guarantee.
hazard pay.
Yeah.
It's hazard pay.
Well, also, too, it's a gamble. It's not like you're just getting paid to show up. So people just don't want to make that gamble on themselves.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's why at Bullpen we ran a concept called Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is. Right? And Phil Schwartz was coming down from Oregon.
Okay.
And he goes, I challenge all black belts in Tucson and Phoenix. $500. Put your money where your mouth is. Nobody took it.
Wow.
Nobody
just
took it.
Everyone, both people put $500. Winner takes all.
Winner takes $1,000. Okay.
No one did it.
No one.
Huh. Wait, who was this?
Phil Schwartz, owner of 10th Planet Portland, black belt.
Oh, okay.
This was a while ago too, and he was like, "I'm going down there with to coach my purple belts or my brown belts. Anyways, I might as well try to get a match."
Yeah.
Dude, nobody took the match, and it was fucking insane. And it's like, do you not want to just? You would rather play blackjack. You would rather play blackjack than have your jiu-jitsu exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because blackjack, you don't have to expose yourself. You could be shitty at blackjack and still play and win and hit a hand.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you can't hide that.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? So you're going to run the chance of getting heel hooked and then all your students going like, oh, profe, you don't know how to defend leg lock.
Yeah. That is one thing that I've noticed. As the more advanced you get, the less likely people are to compete. They get to a point where, especially if you start teaching people, you don't want to lose in front of your students. When it's almost the opposite. From like a student who competes with a coach who's an active competitor, I just love going to war together. That is what I love. Like win or lose, like we're both just putting it on.
There's
the
a
line.
handful of people that think like that.
Yeah,
a handful.
Yeah, but it's like it's their own self-perception. In reality, even those people's students are never going to look negatively upon you. It's just their own self-perception of like, oh, I've got to win no matter what because I teach people now. It's just not the case.
I had that. We had like 30 people on a list for that to go to ADCC Phoenix. And it ended up whittling down to like 15, right? Because some of my upper belts that are heavy saw who was in their bracket. And it's like, oh, Jacob Couch is there. Andy Varella's there. David Asair.
That's crazy.
And it's like,
you know, one thing I do.
Show the fuck up.
Yeah.
I showed up with Barrett Yoshida in my bracket.
Yeah.
And ended up winning the whole fucking bracket.
Yeah, dude, good for you. That's fucking
sick. You know what
sick.
I'm saying?
That's 2 ADCCs now, right?
Yes, 3.
Yeah.
I won the Guadalajara one at 70 kilo too. And I beat a Marcelo Garcia black belt in the finals.
Good for you. That's sick. You know, one thing I actually never do is I never look at my bracket. No matter what the competition is, I never look at the bracket. Some people try to study their opponents and, you know, go in depth with who it is. I really could care less.
Marcelo Garcia says, you study my game, you're going to enter my game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, my position is like, put anyone in front of me, I'm going to do my best jiu-jitsu. It's not like... I don't know. Some people, I think there's real no utility in looking up your opponents. All you're going to do is look them up. And what are you going to look them up? Their fucking Instagram. Look at their Instagram. All they posted is their highlight reels.
It's not them
and
losing.
It could not even be their game either.
Yeah, for sure.
It may not even be their game. It could be just some move they happen to hit in this competition. And then now you're preparing for this. And it's not even the right thing to prepare for.
Exactly. And dude, I did that with Jonathan Van Buren one time. We were at a Grappling Industries. Casey Tanner was in the bracket, Jonathan Van Buren was in the bracket, and me. I think it was us 3. Maybe another random guy that just got the shitty draw of having me, JVB, and fucking Casey Tanner.
Yeah.
But then I did absolutes, and I had Kamoy, I had Roman, I had like all these guys in my bracket. Roman fucking loves that he has a win over me by walkover. Because I was like, I don't need that match on me before Kamoy. So, I was so fixated on Jonathan Van Buren because when I was with my gi affiliation for a long time, that was the gold standard, right? And once, I'm not talking bad about JVB, but he was a monster in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And then once I grappled him, I go, oh, he's a paper tiger. You know what I mean? It's not the monster that I created. He's obviously phenomenal at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? But
you just built him up in your
better
head.
at jiu-jitsu than I thought I was as well. And I think he ended up beating me on like either... I think it was 2-2, and he got an advantage or whatever Grappling Industries criteria was. I think, it's because he had a submission attempt. He went rubber guard on me, and he ended up getting like a omoplata sweep on me, and I came back up. But that was what the win was on. And I and then the next thing I know is I'm so hyper focused on JVB that fucking Casey Tanner beats me. Then Kamoy beats me. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I should have never looked at the bracket because I picked one target and then I was only focused on him.
Yeah.
I did the same thing at this ADCC. That kid, Dorian Oliveras, the kid that won Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, he's 17 years old,
sort
bro.
of smaller kid.
Super small.
Yeah.
Should be at like 25.
He's like a purple belt, right?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I actually,
Beating-
I rolled against him in the Absolute, actually. He beat me on points.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Ezra Elliott comes out of nowhere and fucking darces him.
Oh, wow.
Then,
dude, Ezra's a monster. Do you know Ezra?
Aaron Wilson was trying to tell me, like, hey, dog, you're sleeping on Ezra.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, he just beat one of my blue belts. Like, he didn't look that impressive. But he's like, dude, you don't understand. He's tapping
dude, the kid's
all the black belts at fucking Soul Fighters right now.
Yeah.
Like, and then I saw and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That dude is the truth.
The kid's a stud. He's got serious potential.
It's perfect wrestle jitsu, right? Like,
yeah, it is. Yeah, he's a heavy wrestler.
You shoot on him,
yeah.
He's going to darce you and combo you. He's going to put you in a front
he's got a slick
position.
darce.
You don't wrestle him, he's going to pass on you. He's going to fucking do, he's very, very good.
He competes at 135, too.
Yeah.
He's taller than me.
And that's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Or
but
maybe my
but
height.
again, yeah, MMA fighter, wrestler, we're all going to cut weight.
Yeah.
Everyone trips out that I'm walking around at 75, 78, and I'm competing at 143.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, how? Why?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're also eating a lot.
I'll be fucking huge.
Yeah.
That's why.
175 is thick for you.
So, yeah, that's true. A lot of this, right?
Yeah. Okay. By the way, you want another one?
I'm still sipping.
Oh, dude, fucking baby in that thing over there. Yeah.
I had to drive all the way around Phoenix.
Oh, that's true.
So I was hyper fixated on Dorian, right? And I'm beating this dude from Cobra Kai. No, it's not Cobra Kai. Oh, yeah, get his code. Joe Daddy Stevenson's gym.
Okay.
And I'm beating this guy 8-0. And I'm just thinking about moving past this guy. I make a dumbass thing, and like I was kind of like in a sat up Z guard, like not, like half butterfly.
Okay, yeah.
And I just pushed away and I turned away to go to turtle so that I could burn time in turtle. Fucking dude, rear naked chokes me, no hooks.
Oh fuck.
And I'm just like, what? I'm looking at the scoreboard. All my brown belts are like,
no,
you fucking moron.
Yeah, wow.
And I was just like, dude, what the fuck? They're like, you could have just sat in full guard. He wasn't gonna pass your guard. You know, and that's another case of looking at your bracket and focusing on one motherfucker and sleeping on the other demons that are in there.
That's it. You know, competition is so much mental as well as physical. Like, the mental part of competition, just making sure you're not getting in your own head about who your opponent is, like the fact that people are watching you, the fact that it's not just a roll in your gym. Like, that part of it is such a big part of competition, you know? And it's all just, like, perception. Like, Danaher actually had a really good sort of analogy that I heard the other day. He was like, he was watching this guy. They were in New York, and he was watching this guy that put this.
You have to say it in his monotone.
So there was a man.
Yeah, I got to put that to sleep. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but he was talking about this guy put this plank in between two buildings, and it was like a fucking 100 stories in the sky, just crazy high. Put a plank in between two buildings and walked across. And then he kept walking back and forth. And everyone's sitting on the ground level like, holy shit, like, look at this fucking guy. This is insane. What a fucking animal. The guy grabbed the plank and brought it all the way down and put it on the ground, on, you know, ground floor. And it's like, now you guys run across. Everyone runs across, obviously no problem. He's like, it's the same plank right here as it is up there. The difference is your perception in the plank.
Wow.
It's the same plank.
God damn.
And so it's the same thing as jiu-jitsu in competition. It's just a jiu-jitsu roll. It's the same whether people are watching or whether it's in your gym. It's just a jiu-jitsu roll. It's your own perception of it that causes a shift.
I think in jiu-jitsu there's more. I was going to ask Bryan this. He competed at a way higher level in, you know, Greco and stuff like that. But do you think that in wrestling there's more known names at your weight class and you don't really fall prey to like the sleepers than is in jiu-jitsu? I feel like a lot more people fall prey to sleepers than they do to like the big names.
100%.
You think so?
100%.
People fall prey more to sleepers?
Yeah, because they just overlook them like, oh, they've gone against them in the past and bam, just get caught.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody has their day.
But do you think that happens or doesn't happen in wrestling? Like, especially at the high, like, Frank Chamizo knows he's going to run into, you know, goddamn.
I mean, there was all those major upsets at the World Championships this year.
Dude, this is the
year
of upsets.
You know it's going to be
in
this
MMA.
But look at everyone's old now.
Yeah.
Older.
Well,
You know, Dake.
Dude,
Who the fuck was that kid from Kyle Snyder and shit like that? You know what I mean?
know.
That guy's a sleeper. Okay,
Yeah.
there's.
See what I mean?
just proved myself wrong. Okay. I just proved myself wrong.
He didn't just
Yeah.
text Snyder. He
Yeah.
also beat the other world champ. Like
Yeah,
just
Sabdulayev.
humiliated.
Sabdulayev. He texted
Russian guy?
Sabdulayev. Yeah.
just must be in their blood.
He's a 20-year-old kid that came out of nowhere. Even Henry did a thing. And I was like, this is the only breakdown of yours that I've cared about lately. I go, I love you. I go, this one, I want to know what you think because where did this fucking kid come from? What Russian lab has he been just hiding in? You know, but okay, so that would be one example of the wrestler sleeper.
Okay, let's
That
go
beats
with
the names.
let's go with our local Audrey Jimenez.
She's not a sleeper.
I mean, in the women's match,
She's
like
not-
when
I
she
wouldn't say
won
she's a
the
sleeper.
senior national championships.
I
As a
thought she was
sophomore, is it
picked.
sophomore,
I thought she
junior?
was. Maybe I'm biased. That's not a good question. I'm her uncle, bro. Like,
I
I'm
got
not-
love for her too. I'm just
but
telling
what
you,
I'm
like,
saying is, I don't think she was ever
Also,
a sleeper.
I mean, to even like to consider someone a sleeper or not a sleeper at that sort of level, even if it's like my own jujitsu competition, I have to do so much like just regular knowledge of like what's going on. I don't even follow the local scene that much. I follow jujitsu at the highest level. I don't even know most people's names. If you're not in the top 10 or 15, and you are even a killer, you've been on WNO and all this stuff, I probably don't know your name. So, I mean, there's only so much time in the day, and I just don't dedicate it to learning people.
See, and that's the thing. And maybe that might be your reason why you're so good. You know what I mean? But the reason why I'm so good, air
Take the
quotes,
opposite
big air
approach.
quotes, I have to know who's in my division.
You know, it's
You know
funny.
what was the best?
Yeah.
Keep that. But one of the worst and best things to happen to MMA, the worst thing was getting rid of Access TV Friday nights. You had the MFC, you had LFA, you had RFA, you had CFFC, and you had CFA out of Florida.
Oh, you could see all the up-and-comers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would just know who the champ was at
Who this
135 coming up.
Yeah.
Right? I knew if I was the world champion in MFC, I knew I was going to see Pedro Munoz, who was the LFA champ.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to see, what was his name? Well, Aljo was the CFFC champ, or the COC. But I knew we were all going to be right there, right?
Yeah.
And now I look at UFC fights, and I'm like, where the fuck did this kid come from? Where did he come from? Because there's no longer those pipelines really where you can see them coming up. And
Interesting.
it's LFA still there, right? Combates is still there, but they're all on Fight Pass. And I remember being on Access TV, you sat down on Friday night and you knew what shows were going to be on. And you could see come.
Yeah.
For Jiu-Jitsu, you see Eddie's EBI and Combat Jiu-Jitsu, and you see who's number one and all these things on who's coming up, and you're able to be like, okay, that might be a potential match someday.
Yeah.
But there's some kid in Northern California that you have no idea, doesn't get any exposure.
Yeah.
Do you know who Michael Salazar is? He trains out of Legion.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, wait,
He's
bald guy?
Yeah. Super good foot sweeps, judo wrestling.
We competed in a same bracket one time. Never went against each other. But
I was trying to get him out to Tucson because he was saying that, like, dude, I don't feel like I'm getting exposure on these shows. I'm like, bro, you need to get exposure. Like, you're one of those dudes that I follow on Instagram because that shit's what you're doing is dope, and it needs to be done on live TV.
Which, by the way, he had a sick match with some random wrestler guy that was fucking electric on the when I wanted to get when
was it that 3v3 tournament?
No, it was like submission only.
Yeah,
series.
submission only series. Mike Wilson's thing out there in California, right?
Yeah, his name's Mike.
Yeah, Mike Wilson. He's won a black belt with Coach Casey.
Yeah, he took this guy's back. The dude stood up. He's like, "Don't fucking slam me." The dude
Oh,
was ready
yeah,
to go
yeah.
back on it. He got the
I do remember.
actually.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And the guy just refused to tap. Yeah,
I fucking.
Yeah.
I think somebody DM'd that to me, and I was like,
Yeah.
bro, that's so sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, put your, like, the body triangle side on the ground so they can
Yeah.
use your foot to arch into that.
Okay, nice. Which I use that all the time, by the
Bro,
way.
I
love that.
I've gotten away from it. I want to get back to it.
Oh, dude, it's so nice. Yeah,
I
it's
want to
such
get
a nice
back
one.
to it.
It's IBJJF illegal, I think, but
And
it's-
ADCC illegal.
Oh, is it because it's a full Nelson?
Because it's a full Nelson.
Oh, wow.
I wish people understood that the mechanics is, it's not a neck crank. I'm not pushing your
It's
neck
mostly
forward.
shoulders.
I'm going full Nelson, right? There's no pressure going forward.
Yeah.
And then I'm reaching to each tricep.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling.
Yeah.
And then I'm turning.
Yeah.
Which is going to stretch your bottom lat.
Yeah.
And your spine in the middle. Which I guess any sort of spinal, cervical thing is what's illegal at ADCC.
Dude, fuck it. Twisters are legal, aren't they?
No.
What?
Yeah, and crucifix.
ADCC?
Crucifix is illegal.
I need to learn the rules more.
Yeah, dude. One of the things that we really focused on was trying to get everybody certified. Jay Regalbuto's the head
Oh,
rules.
certified in the rules.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick though, before there's a buddy of mine. He's actually trains at purple belt at Courier's Gym, Impact in Fountain Hills. His name's Patrick. He just won Masters Worlds in Nevada. He takes that opposite approach of studying everyone. We went to dinner in Chicago because he competed at ADCC Chicago as well. He said he has an Excel spreadsheet of every single person that he's gone against, and at that Masters Worlds, there was 32 people that he had a file on each of them.
That's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, he said and he's like, I'll give you a perfect example of how it's come in handy. So second round, I'm in this guy where he got some points early. I get into mounts on him. I'm barely up. As soon as I get on top of him, I'm like, how's that lawsuit in Tucson going?
Oh my god, that's incredible.
The dude's like, what? So he's like, from that moment on, he was no longer, jiu-jitsu wasn't in his head.
Beautiful.
He's like, this guy fucking knows me. I've never met him before.
Beautiful.
And he's in his head.
For sure.
Yeah.
and I think so many jiu-jitsu guys hate that approach, right?
Yeah.
The MMA approach to... That's an MMA tactic.
That is an MMA
tactic,
right?
I mean,
to a much higher level, because it's not like they're going to do interviews against each other like a presser.
Like, I knew that. Like,
he did it for that moment of when he gets in mount, whisper in his ear.
And that's the system that we have at Toro Tech. It's a two-part
Get in
system.
everyone's head.
If you've heard me or Willie Corner, you know what our motive is. It's to just fucking take you out away from your technique enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell guys, I go, look, your job is to break them down physically.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to break them down mentally.
Yeah.
But it's your job
to capitalize.
Because there's times when Mercedes was going up against Tara LaRosa. Tara LaRosa is a legend in women's MMA, women's jiu-jitsu, ADCC medalist, silver medalist, fucking all-time greatest fighting legend for one of the women's. You know what I mean? And she came up to me after the match. She was like, Jesus Christ, you knew everything that I wanted to do. When I tied up with her and Mercedes reached back, you knew I wanted the Russian 2-on-1 and you called it. And I had to let it go. She's like, I go, but this is where Mercedes fucked up. How many times did you look over at me, Tara? She's like 3 or 4. And I go, Mercedes never shot. You know what I mean?
That's the time.
And that's the time. But Mercedes hates it because... She's like, then they come at me even harder, like they're trying to punish me for what the fuck you're saying. I go, that's them attacking in anger. Yeah. And you need to remain centered in your technique.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to explain to people is, because you'll hear it in wrestling. Like, coaches are just, bah, 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 and like, some of these jiu-jitsu guys are like, I can't deal with that constant stress of you yelling at me. And it's like, bro, it's not for you. It's for the fucking other guy.
Exactly.
If I'm constantly yelling instruction to you and they can't hear their coach, you need to understand well, that's not how, you shouldn't coach me like that. I need to, and I go, you know what's crazy? And I mean, obviously I'm not Greg Jackson, but if someone would ever go to Greg Jackson's gym and then be like, hey, that's not how I learn. You need to coach me this way. Yeah. He'd be like, you came to my gym.
Exactly. that's
You're
just what I was going to say.
You're trying to get coached by me.
Yeah, dude, your vibe is going to attract a tribe, of people that work well with you. And if they don't work well with you, then they shouldn't train with you.
For sure.
I mean, that's just what it is.
And there's people that don't understand, like, they can't distinguish yelling at you in like a disciplinarian like tone and then yelling as a coach. They're like, you sound so urgent. It is urgent. Yeah. Everything we're doing has some sort of urgency behind
especially in competition.
And I've tried to tone down so much. I'm just like, yeah, that's great. Awesome.
Put away the megaphone.
Yeah. Hey.
Didn't bring it.
Beautiful. Good job. Stay like that. Like, that's so
You're doing
dumb,
so
bro.
good.
Hey. Like, I can't coach
just
like
try
that.
your best.
Yeah. You're making us proud. We're going to love you either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I didn't know how, and then I hear this. I didn't really know how in danger I was. You're in a fight, dude. Like, that guy's going to try to break you off if you don't try to do that same thing to him. Yeah. You're going to be very disappointed when you end up injured.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you just did that style coaching with me at Fight to Win. Got in that dude's head.
Oh, yeah.
Yelling at him?
Oh, big time.
Yeah, yeah. It was, and I was critiquing his wrestling, right? And, like, the dude's like,
his wrestling sucks.
I'll never say that, right? Yeah. I'll say shit like, he learned that off of YouTube. Okay. Like, dude, he learned that off of YouTube. Like, that's not going to stick. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I do learn it off of YouTube.
Yeah.
I just watched the Danaher instructional. What's your position on instructionals? Do you watch them?
I do like instructionals. I wish I would dedicate more regular time to it. I do like it a lot, though. There's a few that have like changed my game for the better, for sure.
I make fun of instructional watchers.
No way.
I
Do you?
Yeah.
I think that's the wrong approach.
I've watched one instructional, and it was only because I absolutely needed to. I watched all of Eddie's Mastering the Rubber Guard, Mastering the Lockdown truck.
Why did you need to watch that one?
Well, because I needed to be fluent with... Because
10th Planet
what
system.
Casey was telling me is like, you teach...
If you're going to be represented 10th Planet.
If you teach 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu, you need to learn the names.
Mm.
So, Banana Splits goes to truck.
So have you never even like watched one of the other instructionals?
No.
Huh? And what's your stance against them?
I'll watch the live match.
Mm.
Because there's going to be things that you do in your live match that you're not telling me in the instructional.
Well, I think it's like the opposite. Like
Absolutely not. Let me tell you why. This is an old martial arts. This goes back to Kung Fu Karate, the first black belts of any martial art.
You're talking about there's some secrets that they're not putting in the instructional.
Let me tell you why. Okay?
100%.
In the instructional, I'm going to show you 90% of what's going on, and you're going to get success with it.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm going to show my students in-house 95% of that technique. Okay? And then I'm going to say 5% for myself so that I can always be ahead of you. Mm. And that's just old school martial arts kung fu mentality of you don't show them the whole thing.
Have you watched one of the Danahers or like Gordon's?
I can't. I can watch Gordon.
I mean, they break it down to a very
I'm sure they do.
Philosophical
detail. I'm sure they do.
Well, and then here's the difference though too. A lot of the times in competition, you're watching a live roll. There's a lot of that like invisible jujitsu going on.
But that's what you watch.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to watch that, then watch an instructional. But if you have, there's
got to be small details that are tough to pick up on.
5,500 matches.
Yeah.
In wrestling, jiu-jitsu combined. Right on top of 24 professional MMA fights. I'm watching what you're doing with your hands. This is how. Okay, I have to have at every seminar that I teach and at every class that I teach. When I start seeing people being fucking dumb and doing dumb shit, and they're doing their best representation of what I'm doing, I go, "What are you guys watching when I'm teaching?" And they're like, "Well, what you're doing." I go, "No, you're not, because I didn't do what you just did. So why did you do that?" Well, I thought that's what you did. Okay, so learning how to learn is a skill.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I teach everybody this. How many times when you show? Do you teach at Eastwood School?
Yeah.
How many times do you show a move?
You mean like during a class?
Yeah,
like how many times I'll show it? Typically, I'll go over like the point of it, and then maybe we'll go over the specifics of the actual move, maybe 3 to 5 times.
Perfect. But this isn't. You show it, then you go out and spread it, and then you bring them back in. I'm talking about how many times do you show it before you even cut them loose and break?
Yeah, like probably like 3 to 5 times.
Perfect.
Maybe more.
Okay.
But like that's probably around 5 times.
3 to 4 is what I do. Right? Because there's only 4 points of control that you need to really be paying attention to.
Yeah, each of the limbs.
Okay. My first rep, watch what my hands are doing. My second rep, watch what my feet are doing. My third rep, watch what my head is doing. And then my fourth rep, watch what my chest and hips are doing. Or did I say hips already? Watch what the center's doing, right? So hands, feet, head, core.
Yeah.
Hands, feet, head, core. Right? After that, does anybody need to see it one more time? Nope. Break.
Yeah.
Right? Because in a match, this invisible jiu-jitsu, they can't hide it. They have to show you what they're doing with their hands.
Oh, for sure.
They have to show you what they're doing with their feet, and they have to show you what their head and base is doing. They cannot hide it.
Yeah.
In the instructional, they can go, this is what we're doing right here, but this is really what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm driving through my feet, but my hands are twisting the leg. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, sometimes like it's like, okay, so I get to the high mount with both arms controlled, and when the head is turned this way, I do something, and when the head is turned this way, I do a different thing.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe it's like the decisional,
absolutely.
The decisional awareness.
Why didn't he do the thing that he taught me?
Yeah.
Right? Because in the instructional, he shows this, but the head is facing this way.
Yeah.
And the live, the head was facing the other way and he did something else.
Yeah.
Why was the different?
Yeah.
Why didn't he force his face the other way? Why didn't he cross face him? Why didn't he use his chin in his eye? Why didn't he do, something like that?
Yeah.
Because there's another answer. Right?
So do you think an instructional, I think an instructional wouldn't hurt your jiu-jitsu.
No, it can't hurt.
Yeah, if anything, it's only going to maybe increase a little bit.
But again, like after so many times, like even at a seminar, right?
Hold on. My whole thing is that like, Danaher and what he's teaching has done waves in jiu-jitsu. When it was the Danaher Death Squad, the Danaher Death Squad had something like, at that ADCC, whatever it was, 2019, I think, had something like 18 submissions, and the rest of every school combined had like 9 submissions.
I think, obviously,
I don't know the
Pioneer,
exact numbers, but it's something like that.
Amazing coach.
My thought is they're doing something different that most places are not. I think we should take note of what they're doing because they're creating a gold standard. I feel like if you don't take note or don't look into that, I feel like you're just neglecting something that's right there for us.
I mean, I might be just talking out my ass, but like, how much of this is Henzo? Because he learned from Henzo.
Probably a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
But it doesn't matter who it is.
No.
It matters like the technique that's succeeding at the highest level.
This is why I think it's something so detrimental for other coaches, is because now I have students jumping up in the middle of my class going, "This is bullshit.
Well,
don't. This isn't how Danaher teaches it.
Yeah.
This isn't like, dude.
Well,
if you want to be
right
DDS,
thing.
go be DDS.
Yeah. Well,
You know
that's
what I mean?
not the right thing too. And
No, but
also
I think not, like, obviously he's doing something different completely.
For sure.
Him and Gordon, right? But it's to a detriment now because no matter what I say, even though I've been in the UFC, I'm a black belt under Coach Casey and Eddie.
Yeah.
I've done, combat jiu-jitsu. I have the experience. My resume says it all.
For sure.
Right? I have students that still will say that's wrong because that's not how he does it.
Well, that's never the right approach, and that's like having a I know it all mentality.
But how many students now are doing that because they got a Danaher?
But that's just like bullshit students that are gonna always that are never gonna be satisfied with. What they don't have is that white belt mindset of no matter how good I get, there's a lot to learn. And I experienced it from every level that like one student or one coach teaches it this way, and then maybe they adapted it that way and they've implemented it, and then a different coach teaches, and then it's like, oh, that's not how I learned it. That's that's not how the move's done. There's in reality a lot of correct ways to do one move.
for sure.
And so even if Danaher teaches it this way and you're teaching it this other variation, it doesn't mean your variation is incorrect. It just means that there's maybe multiple ways to do it.
Absolutely. And I've always tried to be like, guys, I know Heather teaches this pass this way. This is how I do it.
Yeah.
Neither one of them is wrong.
Yeah. And also, too, like, that's what the beauty of learning from multiple people is that everyone has, like, this certain part of their game that they've become super high level at. And, it's like you'll start to see it at, like, purple belt layer, where this purple belt has, like, a black belt darce. But he's, a purple belt and most other things. He's got an extremely high level single technique. And by the time a black belt gets to a black belt, it's typically a few techniques. And so if you can start to, really take that sort of white belt mindset or always learning mindset from whoever you learn from, then that's how you get better. And the people who think that they're only going to get better depending on who they're surrounded with is completely wrong mindset.
I think
like fucking
jiu-jitsu's like mindset in general is like that because I don't remember any of this in wrestling, right? I don't remember any of the kids going like,
oh, I need to learn from this guy or this guy.
Yeah, not at all. You know what I mean? And like, while there was so many VHS of Kendall Cross's Golden Cross or all the things that he had, you know what I mean? Like, even back then I wasn't watching like wrestling instructionals.
Yeah.
Like doing seminars, seeing it hands-on, then being able to do that. And maybe we're like, well, you just don't learn that way, right? And there's always different types of ways of learning. But obviously, these instructionals have grown jiu-jitsu. I think it's how many poor black belts out there that have to hear that.
Yeah.
I bought the fucking Danaher instructional.
Yeah. Well, honestly, you just got to shut that down and then move on because, like, you're gonna get better dependent on yourself. It's not dependent on whoever you're surrounded with or because they're teaching a different variation.
So when you watch an instructional, what is it that you try to focus on? Like, is it just anything new that's coming out, or you're like, I need the half guard, I need sweeping concepts, I need dummy sweeps, whatever.
So, like, here's an example of like something that I've pulled from instructionals that's like helped my game a lot and it's helped my teaching a lot too. So it's actually from this guy, Less Impressed, More Involved on Jiu-Jitsu. Do you know who he is?
No.
He does a lot of breakdowns. You've probably seen some of his breakdowns. He's actually a purple belt somewhere.
Less Impressed, More Involved.
Less Impressed, More Involved. He does like high level breakdowns of everyone and super good with it. He's actually a purple belt, but he does very good breakdowns and he's got an instructional. And
is that what it is on Instagram?
He's probably on Instagram. I watch him on YouTube.
Less Impressed.
Yep. But so one thing he does like with most like techniques will do this thing called like designated winner. So, for instance, like he had this like guard passing thing where he showed
More
like
involved left and press. Got him right.
yeah.
Charles,
is it the other way around?
Charles Kai Beverly.
Check it out on YouTube. I think it's less impressed, more involved.
Okay.
I'll send it to you after. But
Please.
so for instance, so he does this thing called designated winner, where like he'll go over a couple specific techniques and then play a game called designated winner. So like in the guard passing series, the top person is the designated winner. So they'll start off going about 20%, where the bottom person, they can't get grips, they can post and resist, but only at about 20%.
Okay.
And so the top person is trying to pass guard with the few techniques you've just shown, but at about 20%. We're not going full go. We're trying to really like problem solve during this, like figure out like, okay, I try to engage in this position and this knee keeps coming in and I don't know what to do with it. And so it's what it does is like sort of slows down everything and allows you to problem solve at like a better speed. And then you step it up from there, you go to 40%. Now bottom person can get grips and everything, but we're not resisting full go. The top person should always pass guard. They're the designated winner, but the bottom person is getting real resistance.
If by chance the fucking top guy just absolutely fucks up and bottom guy ends up on top, like
yeah,
he just did everything horribly.
Maybe that, or maybe the bottom person was going too fast.
Okay.
Like something I have to like constantly tell the people is like, yo, we're not going full live right now. Give real resistance, but fucking slow it down a notch.
Yeah, I mean we have a guy named Maz, right? Maz, we have a Maz 30%.
Yeah,
and that means
okay.
everyone
that
we're going full live.
Yeah.
So guys, you're going
Yeah.
Maz 30%. Everyone's like, fucking send it. And I'm like, everybody else is doing regular ass 30%.
Yeah.
No, we do drills like that. And it's
passive live. But this is just like
passive,
a different
passive live.
Yeah,
So this is
just
all
like
like a wrestling concept.
Yeah, so it's a good concept. Like I felt it's helped a lot of people because you can go and drill with a partner
Chaos
100
Anderson
times.
is super big on this. Like,
Yeah.
you'll hear RBY talk about like their passive live or their flows, right? Their creativity flows.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's super important because when you're drilling, it's like half the time, if it's not a skilled person you're drilling with, it's just like a limp body that's not giving you a real resistance
Well, this
at all.
goes back to like regular martial arts. You know what I mean? You do a kata
Mm.
for karate. You do a kata for judo, right? It's
What's
about
a kata?
A kata is just something that's done in repetition
Mm.
at different variances of percentages, right?
Mm.
So
of intensity?
Of intensity, right? So your first kata is very slow, perfect, technical.
Yeah.
Right? Your second kata is a little bit faster than that. Third kata, and obviously by the fifth one, everything should be perfect technical at 100%.
Yeah.
And that again, that's a Japanese technique that goes way, 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 way back.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean that's
so then the meta of jiu-jitsu, right, is like people are like, oh, the meta's wrestling right now. Oh, the meta was leg locks like 4 years ago, 3 years ago now. Do you try to stick with the meta, or do you try to do something as the meta's going this way, you're going a different way?
So how
I don't know how I started interviewing you, but
hey baby, no credentials. I'm not trying to we're just having fun. But so like basically my entire jiu-jitsu career has been for like 6-month periods. I'll start working on about like 1 to 2 things. So for a long time, like I was doing triangles. Like right now it's guillotines and guard passing. That's my main 2 focuses right now. So in every single jiu-jitsu role, I'm trying to insist on guard passing and a guillotine because like, my entire game has been like throughout my jiu-jitsu career, it started with wrestling, pass guard, stay on top. And then I got deep into purple belt and realized like I would go against some super high level wrestlers and just get wrestle fucked, and I had no guard pulling ability, or I didn't have a good guard. And so for about a almost 2 year period.
Did you wrestle in high school?
I wrestled 1 year.
Where at?
At Sandra Day O'Connor.
Oh, okay.
I wish I would have stuck with it. I just honestly didn't even know what it was. I just heard it was a good way to stay in shape on the off season of football, and that's what I did for 1 season, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that's crazy. So I'm kind of back to my wrestle fuck you stay on top.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning is laying on my back playing guard because at the time no one was taking me down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I hadn't been taken down in 12 years of jiu-jitsu. And then I ran into a 3-time NCAA national champion named Rafion Stotts, who's a Bellator champ. And he took me down 3 times in 1 match.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that was my experience. Like, I got wrestle fucked once, and I'm like, all right, let me overcorrect the other way. Let me
and then
like
go
develop
down,
my guard.
right?
Yeah.
And I put myself, typically when I visit a gym, I never wrestle. I sit down and I play guard.
It's a nicer way to meet people.
Well, it's my excuse to be like, I didn't even play my A1 game, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even play my A1, I did all right, you know what I mean?
Watch
Or
firemen scare you
they
next
beat
time.
my ass, and I'm just like, I didn't even play my A1 game, you know what I mean? But, I think, dude, there's so many principles and drills and techniques coming over from wrestling that I wish jiu-jitsu was more like. And there's very few things of jiu-jitsu going to wrestling that I wish wrestling was more like jiu-jitsu.
Are there like applicable crossovers the other way, like from jiu-jitsu to wrestling? It seems like it's more applicable wrestling to jiu-jitsu than vice versa.
Yeah, your wrestling will always make your jiu-jitsu better. Your jiu-jitsu will never make your wrestling better. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I guess if you're kind of a funk-style wrestler and you're on your ass and you know butterfly sweeps and you know little inverty things.
Yeah.
Even,
that can help.
You know,
I've been seeing people hitting Imanari rolls.
Oh, dude, that's crazy now, right? Like Imanari ankle picks, like all this crazy shit.
Yeah,
and that's one of the big crossovers is like an Imanari ankle pick.
That's pretty sick.
You know, prior to that would probably be that cutback, like the Kani Basami.
Okay,
right? Kani Basami's got illegal in wrestling for a little while because they obviously blow people's knees out.
Yeah.
And then even Kani Basamis are illegal in jiu-jitsu for some
and a
divisions.
lot of them. Yeah, in my tournament, that's the only technique that's illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
Eddie at the U.S. qualifier for EBI was like, no Kani Basamis.
Yeah.
What does Oscar De Los Santos do first fucking match?
Kani Basami?
Yes,
he DQ'd?
No, Eddie goes, you weren't at the fucking rules meeting. And Mike Beltran didn't stop it.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he technically should have gotten DQ'd.
Oh, wow. Huh.
But I think he hit it twice.
Oh, no way. Wow. You know, actually, Oscar's really good at it. He does it extremely technical. He's hit it in bullpen a number of times.
I watch how he does it.
Yeah.
And I watch live matches. I don't need to ask, hey, Oscar, show me how to do that.
You could do both, though.
I don't need
Why not?
Because I've seen it now 3-4 times live, right?
Yeah.
And I watch the timing of what he does with his foot. I watch what the opposition does. Probing is a big thing with seeing what reactions you get. And I learned this from Anderson Silva by watching him, okay? For about 3 minutes of his first round, maybe even the whole first round, he's just doing random hand movements, right? To see where your guard goes.
Yeah.
He never really throws like an actual like he just does crazy shit. Do you remember when he was like fucking like posing one time?
Yeah.
And he sees and takes inventory of every reaction when he moves his right hand, when he moves his left hand, when he lifts his knee, when he kicks. Like he's just data collection of what your reaction is. Round 2, you're on your fucking back asking what happened. So seeing what Oscar does, pulling the head, watching the footstep, seeing the timing of what his delay was between that, arm dragging. There was one that I think he hit off a Russian 2-on-1 and then he fucking jumped into it. That one's the one that I'm my favorite one. Someone clubs you, right? You Russian 2-on-1. You step to your right, give them a pull, their leg steps forward.
Jump into it, yeah.
I think he did that one.
Well, that's solid. And he's super technical at it. He's very good.
But
I
I watched the timing. I watched those live matches.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm going to pull guard on Oscar any fucking time. I'm not wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, he's really sick with it. He's also extremely technical with it to where he enters like how you should enter. The problem with it is most people, like 80% of the time when you see it just fucking jump their hips into the side of your knee and just blows out your knee. And so it's zero jujitsu and just fucks up your knee.
What I've noticed about Oscar's is his the saddle is up nice and high on the thigh. And usually when you see guys do this Kani Basami, they're like right above the knee. So it's no longer locking the hip out, it's locking the knee inside, right?
Yeah.
And when
you should be like towards the upper thigh,
so
controlling the leg.
Launches
that's what a good
into it. And I just see too many people super low.
I think also too it's the secondary leg coming in like almost chopping the back of the knee.
The back of the knee.
Yeah,
using the natural articulation of the knee joint.
Exactly.
Right?
Versus most people just dive their fucking hips into the side of the knee and just it's like a instant torn ACL.
Yeah, actually I'm glad we brought this up because again, I would never ask Oscar for an instructional on that. I just would watch him do it live.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Because his probing is going to show you, there's only so many reactions you can get out of somebody, right? And this is like what Danaher says. You want to give people dilemma, not problems.
Yes.
Problems have solutions, right? Dilemmas have two equally shitty fucking endings.
See, there's a great point right there. A lot of what Danaher is, it's like a lot of philosophical points in jiu-jitsu, which that's really good. I mean, like one thing I learned from him is like the J position in guard passing is like getting in the J position is basically like anytime you're at the hip line or past, it's the point that your partner's in jeopardy of being passed, and that's his whole guard passing philosophy is about getting to the J position and then capitalizing.
And I think now that I understand the ADCC rule set, that's what constitutes the initiation, right? Is getting in line with the hips. So like if I stand in front of you and I'm leg dragging and I'm like stepping in and I'm like pushing your face down, those are not initiations. Initiations are getting
almost past.
Yes.
You know,
and it's an advantage, right? Like but the initiation is getting to that position that you're talking about. I wouldn't have known that until I heard. So maybe, obviously, they're gaming the ADCC rule set to the best of anybody now. And that would make sense on why those two are congruent.
For sure. So ADCC is like at this ultra high level. It's fucking sick that they started these ADCC opens. It's been awesome for like the casual, not even the casual competitor and just like every single other competitor. You don't have to wait for fucking trials to, send it at an extremely high level no-gi competition or wait for no-gi worlds. What do you think about the rule set as far as, away from ADCC? Like, do you think it would have the same success if like ADCC were to start today? Because my whole thing is like it's extremely complex. A lot of people, I think ADCC is fucking sick. I think it's the gold standard of jiu-jitsu competition.
Now that I fucking heard the rule set, it's no more crazy than IBJJF.
It's actually less crazy.
It's actually less crazy, right? Because 3 minutes you can submit somebody. 3 minutes you can point somebody.
For sure.
But the points are the details, right? It's like what constitutes an initiation. That's why I want to get him ready for like the wrestlers that I have, the former college wrestlers. Let's take these ADCC opens by storm. It makes sense of that first 3 minutes is just us not getting submitted. Still playing our game, still being aggressive. I've always told everybody, like, if they know Bryan's standing across from them, that guy's not going to wrestle with Bryan, right? So Bryan's wrestling is already 100%, putting fear into somebody. The next thing that needs to be 100 is his passing. Okay, so when you're a demon wrestler, the next thing has to be your passing. Right? And then passings, even if you have, like, mediocre jiu-jitsu, you're going to be able to get to mount, you're going to be able to get to the back, you're going to be able to get to a familiar position where even purple belt, blue belt level jiu-jitsu is going to win over. And being able, to have guys like that, even though it's masters or whatever, you know what I mean? Like having someone reignite that passion for competition after 2 hip surgeries, after shoulder surgery. You know what I mean? Being able to still be out there doing the thing. They don't allow slams for masters. They don't, they weren't going to allow heel hooks for a minute, but then they did it.
Is this an ADCC?
Yeah.
They don't allow?
So only slams are allowed at adult expert.
And it's only slams out of submissions.
Slams out of submissions, yeah. So if ADCC started today, right, and these rules came out, I think it would be the same. Because the thing about this, right, is it attracts 3 demographics of grappler. It attracts the no-gi guys. It attracts the gi guys. And it attracts the wrestlers. Okay? So
I'd say more no-gi and wrestlers, for sure.
More no-gi and wrestlers. But the gi guys are okay with the points and understanding the control positions.
Mostly because of the prestige, in my opinion. I think the prestige is what's carrying everything.
Absolutely.
It's an extremely prestigious tournament.
It's the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu. It's
yeah.
every 2 years, right? And then you have trials.
Yeah.
I wish...
And even medaling
means
Mo
you're,
top
would
in the
make
world.
the trials harder.
Harder?
Because Luke Griffith...
Harder to enter, you're saying?
Luke Griffith can do North American trials and, Euro trials.
Wait, what do you mean?
So, like,
harder in what way?
Harder is, like... We don't get to do, like, if in wrestling, if you're Mexican and you're, a U.S. citizen, you don't get to do both trials, do you?
You can.
So
Yeah.
what was happening is guys were taking up a spot in the bracket essentially, right? Because if there's only so many
harder
regions
to enter because like
you can only do one fucking trial.
Okay.
Right? If you're North American, you can only do North American trials.
Sure. Okay. Rather than
like
being
Taza,
able to do
Taza can do East Coast trials, West Coast trials, and
European.
Euros.
Yeah. Gives
How
you
many
a lot of
chances?
chances.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But me, who doesn't have a passport, can only do U.S. trials.
Get a fucking passport.
Yeah, but then I gotta get citizenship. I gotta do all these fucking things.
Yeah.
And even if I get Mexican citizenship, that's still North America. Even if I get Canadian citizenship, still North America. North America's Canada, U.S., Mexico, all the way down to like Costa Rica, all of the Caribbean. Right? That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Where Mexico goes down to South American trials or Mexican trials for wrestling.
You know, there's so many people signing up for it. There's probably opportunity for that. I don't know if you saw, but like this 77
Everything's
kilo.
capped out.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
Everything.
Dude, it's
I felt fucking terrible because I got in at like 100 competitors. And I had to pull out due to family reasons and this fucking new job that I got. And I saw that I was put in the top 10 of, the fucking dudes there.
Oh, really?
Off of, my open points and shit that I've done like that. And people are like saying, oh, this is cool, dude. Like, you're in there with Gianni Grippo and fucking... And damn, Gianni Grippo. Me and his name are forever...
Tied together?
Tied together.
Huh.
That was bad.
I don't know what happened.
You know what happened?
No.
Slammed him on his fucking head. Are you playing with me?
Oh, no, that was the fun.
I do know what happened. I'm just kidding.
They changed the rules because of that.
Yeah, so at the Phoenix, at the Phoenix rules, he's like, the Grippo rule. And I went, excuse me? And he goes,
Birchak.
I go, Grippo didn't do that. I go, you better call that the Birchak rule. And he goes, he starts going like this. He's like, it's the Birchak. I go, thank you, Jay. I go, if I'm going to go down in ADCC history, it's going to be for that.
Yeah, that's it. That's hilarious.
But yeah.
Yeah, go for it. It's downstairs. Yeah.
So I think if the rule set came out now, I think it would have just as much success. If not more, dude, because... if everyone wants to do something that's new and fresh, right? You're the new kid at school.
I don't think so, though. That's the whole thing. Goes back to what we were talking about with Butter Smooth and bullpen. Guys don't want to do just random tournaments.
But I think because it does cater to so many, like the Nogi guys are gonna go, oh hey, that first 3 minutes and leg locks.
Yeah.
And the wrestlers are gonna go that last 3 minutes and takedowns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, teaching people new rule sets, I feel like it's just so fucking difficult. A lot of people who sign up for ADCC don't even know. They'll pass guard and the guy's on his side and he's like, why am I getting
No, I see it. I see it every fucking tournament.
Yeah. So
and I don't want to be that dickhead again. Even though what I did was legal at the time, they changed the rules.
They changed the rules because of that. Yeah.
And my argument for it was if you're a combat sports athlete in any other combat sport, boxing, kickboxing, fucking wrestling, you're not allowed to attack the back of the head. Right? No strikes to the back of the head.
Off limits.
Right? But everything up front, everything on the side, the temporal lobe, all of that, that's open.
Yeah.
So why is it that in the most violent jiu-jitsu event in the world, you can target the one thing that every other combat sports...
the back of the head.
...doesn't allow?
Even the triangle chokes up and down, slam the back of the head.
You can do that in MMA.
Yeah.
You can,
right?
True, Ricardo Arona. But you can't hit the back of the head. But a slam to the floor with gravity is...
So a slam backwards... Is that still legal? I don't think that's legal either.
Yeah, so if he's on my back, I can't go forward. If he has a rear naked choke. Right? And I can go back.
If he has a rear naked choke,
he has to have a full rear naked choke, which no one's going to do that.
No.
You know what I mean? No one's going to do that because they know
backwards.
It's going to sink it in deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a 1% chance.
Armbar, triangle, everything's going to attack the back of your opponent's head. So why did you choose to make that legal versus... And me and Mo had phone calls. Of like, he's like, I don't know why you're still hassling me about this. I go, because I'm getting shredded on fucking social media.
Yeah, people are coming after
me, bro. And he goes, I've talked to neurologists and brain surgeons and all these people. They're saying that you spiking him forward on his forehead is the most detrimental to his neck.
That's what I was going to say. It's
and
not
I go,
necessarily
okay,
about the head. It's about the neck and spine.
Yeah, it's the neck and spine.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't think going backwards is the same fucking danger? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe a little bit more going forward.
Imagine going backward and having your knees touch your fucking forehead and tell me how your neck feels, right? You're going to be... so your spine is curving to its natural curve.
I mean, if I lost a bet and you said, hey, I got to take your back and either you could go forward or go backwards, I think I'm going backwards.
That's interesting.
What would you pick? If
I was on your back and I was like, you can either go forward or backwards?
Yeah. Probably going back.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me because I know how to fall. That's the other thing, right? Is like,
yeah.
At any point, Gianni could have let go.
That's true.
At any
I mean,
point.
that's the biggest
You're
thing.
the one that's in charge, bro.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with it. It's within the rules, and I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's within the rules.
So it was within the rules. It's now gone. But but that was my 15 minutes of ADCC fame.
Yeah.
I bet you, and I was making a joke with Jay. I bet you he was like, "Oh, we're scribbling it out right now, Birchak." Yeah, sure, it's the fucking Birchak rule. And it still says Grippo.
No.
Right? He probably goes to every other. He goes, "I just got to remember anytime I'm in Phoenix, I got to call it the Birchak rule." Every other ADCC Open, it's gonna be called the Grippo rule.
That's funny.
But I don't know, man. I think, I guess you're right. The rules, teaching people new rules,
I think no one's
they
willing to
avoid
do
it.
Yeah, I mean, even as with how prestigious ADCC is,
EBI, people hate fucking sub only.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing some the Atos girls. We were out at Submission on the Shores for a girls event, and she's like, "I just don't understand the overtime of you weren't on my back the entire match. You couldn't sniff my arm out if you wanted to. Why are we gonna do that?" And it's like, because that's the rule set you decided to participate in.
That's the thing.
You know
no matter what rule set you enter, you should be able to. You should try to perform under your rule set.
Are you a black belt? Yes. Should you know how to escape a rear naked choke from the back, or even just a seat belt? You should know how to get out of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In armbar, you don't know how to defend an armbar. You should be able to defend a static armbar.
So my whole thing with that too, because I sort of tend to agree with her point, is that like jiu-jitsu competition should be a test between, or the result of it should show who has the best jiu-jitsu. So if in a match, the problem with the EBI overtime, and don't get me wrong, I fucking love Eddie Bravo. I love what he's done for the sport. He's had an insane contribution to the sport. The problem with EBI overtime is exactly that. You can absolutely work someone for an entire regulation, fucking take them down, pass their guard, mount them,
okay, so why couldn't you finish them?
You couldn't finish them.
So then if you participate in a rule set where you can only out position somebody and you can't finish somebody, you're not gonna kill me.
No, for sure.
You're not gonna kill me in a fight. You're gonna put yourselves in positions to kill me and never kill me.
Well, so there's the thing though. So what's the answer to that? Is it there could be unlimited no time limit? Because in that situation,
Jose was in a 2-hour match at grappling.
They suck. So that's not the right way. That's not the right answer.
You know that they started doing that because they stopped doing that because of that fucking match.
Dude, those are the worst.
Were you there?
I mean, no, I wasn't.
Yeah. Jose Munoz was in like a 2-hour match at one of the grappling industry sub only ones here.
Oh no,
they stopped doing that event.
They're horrible. Yeah, I mean it's not fun for the competitors. It's not fun for the spectators.
Well, that's why EBI overtime is no longer timed anymore. It used to be untimed as well. There was a guy on someone's back for 14 minutes in overtime.
Yeah. See, I mean that sucks too. But so someone works you the entire regulation. You can't finish them. I mean, now you're just put into a position that you did never earn, and maybe you get the finish from there. Does that mean that you have better jiu-jitsu than the other person?
No, for sure not.
Maybe you're better from that position, and that's the thing that, like, my whole reason with starting my competition, and I'm not saying I have it perfectly, but what I'm trying to do is create a rule set that shows, like, the highest level who has the better jiu-jitsu and a rule set that you can't game.
So,
the problem with that
they're
is like,
gaming, but even then,
what they do,
dude. As anyone has their rules, people are going to game it.
That's the thing. So you have to create a rule set that is the least gameable. The way that people game the EBI overtime is the entire training camp. They are working back and armbar, back and armbar, back and armbar. So they have so many reps at back and armbar, and that's what they're looking to do.
But isn't that the essence of jiu-jitsu? Anytime you see a logo.
Yeah.
For jiu-jitsu, do you see two guys standing like wrestling?
No.
No, you see a guy in an armbar, right? From the bottom.
Yeah.
You'll see a triangle.
Yeah.
Or you'll see a guy on someone's back hugging his neck.
That's what jiu-jitsu is.
That's what it is. So that's what Eddie called the essence of jiu-jitsu.
You should have to earn those positions.
But if you're a black belt at that level, you should know how to stop that position. And you should be able to escape that position.
Yeah.
So, and then the way that I see it is 10th Planet didn't even start gaming the 10th Planet rule set. I will call it 10th Planet rule set, right?
People game. Once you put rules to be gamed.
I think Danaher was one of the ones that started gaming the rule set.
Yeah.
Right? And
once you put a rule set, people will start to game it, no matter what.
Because I game ADCC.
Yeah, you have
I'm gonna half pass you for 3 minutes, and then guess what? This is my new thing. You put me in full guard, right? I'm going to stand up with you, and I'm going to pry one of your legs open until you're on your foot for 3 seconds, and then I'm going to take you down.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my game.
Oh, nice. Yeah. to get the takedown points. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. You should do that. Anytime there's a system or rules to be gamed, you should try to game them.
I've gotten in so many arguments with other 10th Planet black belts, like, because that mentality is, well, he didn't have shit for me in regulation. And in turn, the inverse of that is you didn't have shit for him in regulation.
For sure.
Right? It's the same thing. You didn't have shit for him, he didn't have shit for you. Right? So would you prefer a golden score of wrestling, which it's either takedown, pass, or submit, or sweep? Right?
What's a golden score?
Golden score is you can pull guard, but that top person now has to pass or submit you. Bottom person either has to sweep or submit, or wrestle up and take him down. If you both decide to stay on your feet, it's the takedown that wins. Right? So,
so you're saying like in an overtime,
that would be a golden score. Right? It's the first true points.
Yeah.
Right? Versus the first, if it's sub only, you have to do a submission only. That's why it's armbar or rear naked choke.
Yeah. Well, I don't get me wrong. It's like,
and I've told these guys, like, you lost in a rule set that was made for us by us to a guy that I guarantee doesn't do this.
Yeah, doesn't do it as often.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, basically what it is like college overtime. You're starting on the 20-yard line and you got 4 downs to get it done. That's like what college overtime is. You know, you're starting in a very advantageous position and you have a limited time.
And how many people fail?
And both people go on both sides.
And how many times does people fail? Right? You're going to tell me that you're going to be ready for the NFL and you can't score from the 20?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you also got to think about it with wrestling as well. When they did the over and under body lock for the clinch,
good
and
lord,
then the single leg. You started in a single leg with one leg up off of the ground.
Go ahead, Brian. Please explain to our listeners and then our esteemed host Joey the shitty dark times of wrestling.
All right, so there's been a whole different progression and degression and progression again back to the original rule set. It went from it was 2 periods. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Winner wins. You know,
10 points is a tech.
10 points is a tech. Fall ends it. It's just like it would be a submission for Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
There's no tech or anything for Jiu Jitsu.
I'd like to see techs in Jiu Jitsu.
That would just cool. Like a 21,
15?
A skunk or
15?
something.
Yep.
15.
15?
Yeah. 15-0. Yeah.
15-0.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. It's easy to get.
Although it is kind of funny, sometimes you've seen like 42-0 or something.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Why are you wasting your fucking
everyone's time?
Everyone's time. Like, get the fuck out of it.
I mean, in the finals of IBJJF Nationals, it was I won like 32-0.
There you go. Well, that's my point with sub only, and you work the guy, but you don't submit him. It's the same thing in a points tournament. You would have just got a million fucking points.
Yeah, go away.
Yeah,
go away.
But I mean, you won the match. You won the exchange between the two of you.
Yeah, but
you didn't submit him. You could do it. The other answer is no time limit, which I don't think that's the right answer either. But so we'll get back to it. In wrestling, so it was like this was an answer if both people are 0.
Hold on.
Yeah.
One of our greatest Olympic gold medal wins of all time, Gardner.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And you can't see
R meaning like USA?
USA.
Nice.
He beat the Crussian Russian Alexander.
Sick name.
What's his name? Alexander Crewellen. If you look him up, he was fucking undefeated for like 14 years.
In Olympics, Worlds.
In Olympics, Worlds, and international competition for like 14 years.
Wow.
Gardner,
I believe,
old fat country boy. The rule was you start in an over-under body lock. Right?
Like, standing?
There's standing.
Okay.
There's one. One guy has to stand like
over
and then,
one arm,
and then you
over
grab.
the other.
You grab. Right? There's the initiator.
Yeah.
And then the second guy has to lock on you.
Okay. Yeah.
And then go.
Okay, wow.
Okay? There was this dumbass rule that if you broke your lock, that guy won. The other guy won. Rulon was built like a fucking chicken nugget.
For real. It's impossible to lock.
So he had a big barrel chest
Yeah.
and then this giant round belly.
Okay.
Alexander Crewellen looks like a fucking upside down Dorito chip, which is just a triangle, and he's shredded.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Obviously product of Russian vitamins.
Yeah.
Okay? So the way that we won the U.S. gold medal and defeated this dude okay, was Rulon was so fucking big
Mm-hmm.
that break is what caught us a gold medal.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
And that was one of those rules that, like, it was dumb.
Yeah. It didn't mean the guy had better wrestling.
It didn't. But then they went to a single leg, right?
Yeah, single leg for freestyle and kept the clinch for Greco.
So you just get into a single leg position and then just go from there.
Was it off the ground or was it?
So it was off the ground. You could have a head inside or a head outside single. The other opponent had to start with his hands together on his flat on his back. Like he couldn't start with a whizzer. He couldn't start with a crossface. He couldn't start with any of that. And then they also incorporated.
This is like an overtime, like an answer if there's no points in regulation.
Yeah, or if it's 6-6 at the end of the.
Okay, so it's equal, and then you go into this like it's
Yeah,
almost like a EBI overtime type thing.
Yeah, it's an advantageous position.
Yeah,
right.
You're put
Because
into an advantageous position.
can you wrestle from a detriment?
Yeah,
And that's what jiu-jitsu is. Can you jiu-jitsu from a detriment?
yeah.
If you can't, fuck, sorry.
Yeah.
So, but do you think people stopped wrestling in their camp just to focus on single legs and body clinches and breaking the lock?
I mean, there was a focus on that.
I mean, if you would be dumb to say there wasn't,
Yeah.
right? But that's what won us the gold medal. So who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, in that instance, yeah. But if
doesn't
we were on the
matter.
other side of it,
If you lost,
yeah.
work on your grip strength. I don't know what to tell you. Get longer arms.
Get a better body shape.
Yeah, get better body. Yeah, eat more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, but like those types of sudden death rules.
Don't get me wrong, I like it, and I think it's an interesting answer
Because if
to
you
what
go
happens.
any other way, then you're eliminating the watchability of it, like the viewership, right? It's not wrestling's not a viewer's sport, and that's what we've been trying to do. I say we as wrestlers is I'm not the IOC or fucking anybody like that, but as wrestlers, you want to make it as viewer friendly as possible.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Basketball, football, all those are viewership based sports. Wrestling is not. Jiu-jitsu is really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only jiu-jitsu people want to watch jiu-jitsu matches.
Sure.
Only reason that fighting is because people are fucking fighting.
Yeah, exactly. There's always the risk of of potential knockout.
For sure.
But also too, I think part of the reason that jiu-jitsu isn't a spectator sport is because of a lot of the rule sets. If you watch, even me, who I fucking love jiu-jitsu, like us, if you can go to you can watch a lot of IBJJF Worlds. You know, like watch it on Flow. A lot of the matches are this battle for advantage points. It's not an extremely exciting match. I think the rule set makes it so where it makes it tough.
Do you think it's because there's 20 different rule sets and we're not just... There's only one football rule set.
Yeah.
You think if we just stuck with one jiu-jitsu rule set that everyone would be like, this is what we got to watch, so this is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
So I think...
Because like the XFL tried... Do you remember the kickoff for the XFL? There was two dudes that sprinted for a ball. Right? And then the guy that got the ball got the fucking possession.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So they just put their fastest guy there. And
you know what I mean? Like, and everyone's like, fuck this dude. Shit.
Well, so I think what it is the best rule set will eventually rise to the top. I think part of why
We're seeing it.
Yeah, I think part of why IBJJF and has been is so amazing because it's been around the longest. You know, they were one of the very first rule sets. I think if you tried to just create something like that today and just introduce it to a lot of the athletes, it wouldn't work well on anyone. No one's going to learn a whole rule set, but they were the only game in town for a long time, and it was the only way to win a prestigious medal for a long time. And then, we're still, in general, at a very infant stage of jiu-jitsu. I think in 10 years, jiu-jitsu is going to be a completely different game. And I think everyone
Well, look at the evolution of MMA. From the time that I started to this time now, is dudes are doing MMA. Back then, I remember someone arguing in a barbershop about, who do you think's going to win that Anderson Silva fight versus that? I don't know, wrestlers are going to take him down. Yeah, but he's got that Muay Thai. You know what I'm saying? He got that Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no one knows what any of this is. We're just tuning in to watch somebody fucking get knocked out or taken down and smashed.
Well, that's a good point. Before, it was true specialists in a lot of different arts.
And now it's
the up-and-comers.
Everybody's a goddamn mixed martial artist.
Yeah, they're truly good from a lot of positions.
So, there's so many dynamic things in jiu-jitsu. I still think you're gonna have specialists. I think you're gonna have leg lockers. You're gonna have guard passers.
Yeah, and I think that should be encouraged as well.
I think IBJJF needs to do something like ADCC does with pushing the responsibility of one competitor to step up their game into a position they might not be good at.
I think that
because not everybody can wrestle, and ADCC makes you wrestle unless you do it smartly at the end. And you can pull guard, but you're going to take a negative.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That is a big difference between ADCC and IBJJF. They are all over you to make sure that you're, engaging, going after it. It's much more.
Even in mount. If you're in mount or on the back and you're hanging out, they're giving you a warning.
Exactly.
Hey, now that you're there, finish them. Let's get the fuck out of here. We got
you should
6
be
more
attempting.
matches, bro.
You should be
You
attempting.
want to sit here watch you fucking hump this dude for a little bit? No.
Yeah, which is
him.
good. Yeah, I mean, that you should be encouraging action constantly.
And how many times at fucking IBJJF do you see a guy get a takedown and a pass and then just,
hang out the entire rest of the time. Yeah, exactly.
And then rip his fucking deal.
Exactly. Or just almost get a pass. Now he's got an advantage. Now he's just basically disengaging
and then
the entire
that's
rest
it.
of the
Boring
match.
as shit.
That's it, So that, in my opinion, doesn't mean that guy has better jiu-jitsu.
The onus needs to be on somebody, right? And the responsibility of engagement.
It should be on the person who wants to win. That should be the biggest thing.
And that's what they're rewarding, right? Is the initiator. But that's how do you do that in EBI? How would you do that in EBI? And the only thing that you get that in EBI is the aggressor, instead of the coin flip, or the aggressor gets the coin flip. Sometimes now the aggressor just gets to choose the position. Yeah. Like at bullpen, let's say
if you work the person.
Pass and fucking mount Bryan at the very end, or if you've been working the person, I'm not going to coin flip you. I'm just going to be like, what do you want?
You get the decision.
Yeah, what do you want? And that's the biggest thing of putting him in a bad position. You know what I mean? There should be something to press the action during. You know what I've talked about that Japan does really good? The yellow card.
Like a warning?
Right. And I've talked to Kamui about this. He's asked me how should, what rules should he have to main character to push the action. And I go, a yellow card. Now, when there's no money on the line, the yellow card doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah. But let's throw a yellow card at somebody and add 15 seconds to their overtime. Let's throw a yellow card at somebody and put them in a bad position when the fucking overtime happens. Let's throw a yellow card at somebody and take 20% of their purse.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers will start moving, bro. Yeah. Motherfuckers will start moving. And I've been trying to do that. And the $2,000 grand prize that we just, that Fedor just won. There was a couple times where I would have given him a yellow card, or I would have given his opponent a yellow card for not trying to escape and just chilling. You know what I mean? But right now, I think there's a couple things that Eddie does where I think he adds a minute to your overtime, which is half of what the overtime is.
Yeah,
I think that's 2 minutes. That's too expensive. So I think adding things are done, 10, 15 seconds. I think that's enough of a bump to make people fuck, I got 2 yellow cards. I'm 20 seconds down now. The red card is, a fucking no overtime.
Yeah.
So
it means just you lose.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It means it. Oh, we did do that, I think. Mercedes said, it was versus me and Coyote, right? Because Coyote didn't make weight. If he didn't sub me, he couldn't win. And fucking dude broke my foot in half. You know what I mean? So he had to win.
Yeah.
I think if you put that kind of responsibility and urgency on somebody, that's gonna be a lot more spectator friendly.
Yeah. I think part of it is we're still as a community figuring out what is the best rule.
Because in wrestling they give you a passivity, right? They give you passive and 1. You're not coming forward, passivity. And then the next back step that I take is going not my way.
Okay.
Yeah, you get 3 of those and you're just disqualified.
Yeah, you get 3 passivities and you're DQ'd. You get 2.
What if you're 0-0 and you got 2 passivities? Does that mean you lose?
If you have your second passivity, it's a point.
It's a point. They give the guy a point. They don't negative you. They just give the other guy a point.
Interesting.
So then it would go based off criteria. What you're saying is if they're still scored the same at the end of the match, say it's 1-1. That's how I lost that in the.
I don't think a negative
point scored.
A negative puts any responsibility on somebody, right? Because if I get let's say I get 2 negatives, right, and I get a takedown, it's still 0-0.
Yeah.
And even though I was the initiator at the end, you're gonna get a decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why try?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I get passivity and 1, passivity and 2, now I take you down. It's tied 2-2. We could still only go to the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But see, my whole thing is I don't love the points. I think the points like muddle the martial art. I don't think they like encourage good jiu-jitsu matches, and I don't think they facilitate showing who is the better jiu-jitsu.
It's so hard to do a decision because if your jiu-jitsu positioning is better but you can't submit me, then are you really good at jiu-jitsu?
You're better at the grappling exchange. Yeah.
Right. What if I'm allowing you to do a bunch of shit to tie yourself out?
Why would you do that?
Right? Because it's sub-only. It's sub-only.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll let you mount me.
Well, that's
I'll
a
let
strategy.
you mount me
Yeah.
so that I can invert and heel hook you.
Yeah, well, that's a strategy.
And let's say it doesn't stick, 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a strategy. That's a boring ass strategy too. No matter how you split it, okay. And this is how this goes with like
well, part of the reason that
people are gonna want overtimes and people are gonna want no overtimes.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if you own your own school and you're like, hey guys, I'm thinking about doing a couple of different class times. I'm gonna do 6 a.m. and 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Half of your student body's gonna say we want 7 a.m.
For sure.
The other half's gonna say we want 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you go, all right, I'm gonna do 6 a.m. and you're gonna piss off half of your people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you say, well, I'm gonna do 7 a.m. You piss off the other half of your
For
people.
sure. Okay.
So no matter what,
yeah,
it's not gonna be fun.
For sure. Yeah.
So like being like this is the rule set. Right now, it's proven to be ADCC because it's catering to 3 demographics, like I said. And
yeah, but see, I don't think it's necessarily the rule set. I think it's the prestige
the
that
guys
ADCC
that are
carries.
it's got to be. There's other tournaments that are doing ADCC style rule sets that people are participating in to get ready for actual ADCCs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, so I think that's just like overflow from the prestige of ADCC. If it wasn't ADCC,
But there's other people that won't participate in these ADCC opens because the prestige is too scary. Even though you can compete at white belt.
Yeah.
You do your own division. You know what I mean? People still won't do that because it's a scary monster that is ADCC. When the rule set is broken down, let's say Butter Smooth decides to do Butter Smooth ADCC rule set, right? There's 3 people that you could have as your judges and your refs. People are going to be like, okay, I want to do this because Phoenix came and I didn't have the chance. Or I was really scared. I was really scared, you know what I mean? And I think you'll have a good turnout. I still think Arizona's in this weird place of not... I think Arizona in general is just a weird place of not participating in new rule sets. People don't want to do, the EBI overtime sub-only stuff. Like when Jiu-Jitsu World League comes here and they... or not World League, World Series Jiu-Jitsu. And it's like 6 people in a bracket, $600 entry fee, winner takes $500.
Yeah.
No one shows up. I think the white belts and the blue belts have the best numbers, but as you get to like purple, brown, and black, there's one person.
Yeah.
You're basically doing a money where your mouth is thing where I put $100 up, you put $100 up, winner walks with 200. So
which that's sick too. I like that.
I just feel, and this goes back to like an old poll that I saw in Arizona being one of the least athletic, supportive, or like what do you call it? Like gung-ho states, right? Like
we don't follow our football team very much.
Yeah,
we don't follow our
if you poll how many jerseys people have, it's Cowboys.
Yeah,
you put Raiders.
And honestly, before we had that Super Bowl run, there was 0 Cardinals
for
fans.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, now there's some diehard forever
Cardinal
fans.
You know what I mean? And it's like, but Arizona had
not
one
like
of the
Chicago or Philly or
Bears, the Sox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Steelers. You don't get that.
It's not even close.
But that goes with us as a whole is like, we're not even supportive of friends podcasts or new clothing lines that you're coming out with. Like it's so hard to get anybody to support you this day and age.
Yeah. Which is okay. I mean, like all you have to do is just like create something that you think is dope, and then the people that also think is dope are gonna fucking follow and pay attention.
Monetize. You need everybody to think it's dope. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
okay though.
Your grandma and your mom can't be the only customers buying your t-shirts. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay. There's like a cliche that like your friend or your customer will become a friend much sooner than your friend becomes a customer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
but it's true.
That's just the truth of the game.
And you see it on Instagram all the time, right? It's like how many people will buy a Kardashian thing before you're like, hey, dude, I started my own business. They're like, cool.
Yeah.
Can I get a free taco?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, fuck you,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. If anything, you should be paying your boys like full price.
For sure. And I try to do that all the time, dude, because I remember what it was like coming up, starting, small business, and then like everybody being like, can I get a free membership? And it's like, dude.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah. But you got to bring in 5 more people.
Yeah. There you go.
And
that's fair.
that kind of worked a little bit, but
Nice. Oh,
I don't know.
nice. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult out here.
It is, dude. And I wish there was a way to like rally the troops more when it came to cool shit happening. Like, you know, me and Mercedes have been working super hard to not only be an active commission for combat jiu-jitsu, but the entire goal was to be a springboard for the amazing jiu-jitsu athletes that we have here in Arizona.
And it's sick.
Bro, think about the instructors we have here. We have Tonquinho, we have Megaton, we have Mackenzie Dern, we have Gustavo Dantes, we have all these amazing people, bro, that like that are jiu-jitsu icons right here in Arizona.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, how can we, one, grow the sport, and two, get people excited about it and trying new things?
Yeah. I like what you're doing. I've always loved the bullpen. You guys put on sick tournaments. I've had a ton of fun doing them.
You're, I would say, 60% of our highlights, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're flying triangles, you know, your rubber guard finishes, like shit like that's amazing. And we only want to get Joey Werner on the next big show. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is us going back to this is now we've brought Master Eddie out. He brought, you know, his Russian and he picked up everybody that was on that card to come out to Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, which we think it's going to happen in Phoenix. We would love it to happen in Tucson, but again, like, you know, the
Phoenix is just better than Tucson.
Better. It's just better. I mean, the venues, like the one cool venue that we have
smells better over here.
God damn it, it does not.
The one, like shit over there.
You guys have smog and all kinds of shit here.
But it's like it sucks over there.
Does not. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The Kardashians go there.
Have you lived in Tucson your whole life?
My whole life.
Oh, wow.
I lived in Phoenix when me and him were wrestling in college for about 2.5 years, 3 years. But Phoenix is cool.
Yeah.
Too many people.
Yeah.
I'd rather, you know.
Better food over here.
False.
Oh,
Tucson has the best Mexican food in the world. You didn't know that?
Places. Well, it's because you're fucking stone's throw away from Mexico.
Exactly. But don't say you got the best
food.
You
share the wall.
The only place that I come up here and eat is Lolo's Chicken and Waffles.
Dude, Lolo's is bomb, but I could take you to some other places that are better than that.
Name something.
Dude, Evo, insane Italian food.
Okay.
Buck and Ryder, seafood, they'll knock your fucking socks off.
Okay.
Floating fresh daily, you wouldn't think in Arizona, got great seafood. Taj Mahal, best Indian food you've ever fucking had.
You lose me with that one.
Haji Baba, Mediterranean food, if you like gyros and stuff. Oh, amazing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's next time. So what we'll do next time,
burgers.
Every time that I'm on this podcast, you have to fucking do carry out.
Oh, sure, yeah. We'll bring something in.
Be like, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
Hey, this is amazing.
What do you like? You like Italian food?
I fucking love everything. Except for Indian food. Okay. But I will eat Indian food.
Dude, these Indian food might change your mind. It's pretty good. Some butter lamb. Some garlic naan.
Yeah, I can't do lamb.
The rice.
Oh, you don't like lamb? Bro, what? So listen, hold on.
Oh, dude, I love lamb.
So growing up on a farm, goat, lamb, sheep.
Grew up on a farm?
Yeah, we have a ranch down in Saurita.
Oh, nice.
My grandpa had 500 head of cow, 300 head of hog.
Oh, wow.
And then towards my upbringing, we had peacocks, horses, cows.
Oh, very cool.
A couple pigs.
Wow, you're a farmer.
Kind of.
Yeah,
we didn't really grow anything at that point.
You just had like cattle.
He had one of the biggest cotton farms.
Livestock.
Yeah, he had one of the biggest cotton farms down there.
Wow.
Owned a huge parcel of land. But so
I didn't know you had slave owner.
Hold on, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled. Huh? That shit. Just Mexicans.
Yeah.
The goat, the sheep, the lamb, the way their shit smells is how their meat tastes to me. So I can't do it.
Interesting.
That
you just grew up around the whole smell of it.
They're little like BBs, right? They're like little paintballs, and the way that
and they
smells,
shit everywhere.
And the way that smells, even their coat, like they just stink. And that's how the meat tastes to me. It's super gamey, super.
Interesting.
And I've only had lamb done one way where I was like, whoa, what is this? So I was roofing for this African couple. And the guy was a professor at New Mexico State University, and he developed a bunch of hot sauce. I guess he was like a botanist or something like that, because it's an agricultural university. So he was like playing with ghost peppers, and his wife made me this crazy lamb that I thought was beef, and she's like, no, it's lamb. And like my initial instinct was like, but I was like, no, it's great.
It's good. Yeah.
Like, can't even taste it.
Mm.
Like, a couple people told me, like, oh, I got a couple different ways to cook lamb for you that you won't be able to taste it.
Which, by the way,
I'm like, as soon as I smell goat shit, I'm out.
I'm going camping this weekend. One thing I'm bringing, I actually got to go after this, is going picking up some lamb ribs. Dude, lamb ribs, I pressure cook them first. It makes it like fall off the bone soft.
Interesting.
And then I air fry them afterward. It gets some crispiness on the outside.
Okay.
So fucking good. I'll get it up there. They're cold. I'll like reheat them on a skillet with butter. Dude,
so you do the cooking down here and then take it up there. You don't cook it in nature.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
Damn.
It's amazing.
Send me the recipe.
Yeah.
I'll gladly do it and then be like,
no, I'll cook it for you. Maybe that's one thing.
Okay,
next time.
all right,
I'll have it for you,
all
so it's
right.
ready. It's done right.
Yeah, man. This has been a fucking blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for coming, brother. I know you got other shit to do, so
I'm just gonna eat and go to a football game, and I'm sure traffic's gonna be lovely right now.
Yeah, it's probably worse in Tucson because it's better up here, more people.
Anyways, if I can get you a match as like a super fight or anything like that, I would love to have you on the actual show.
Absolutely.
Looking for like ticket sellers, even having
Dude,
you
let me
and
know.
Issa. Oh, and just so you know, actually for the grand opening of the new One Love grappling arts, I'll be doing a seminar there.
Oh, badass! I think Issa told me that.
Yeah.
That's
so
really cool.
What we're doing is we're gonna switch. We're gonna train seminar.
So we're gonna come down for you
For
too.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
So, I'm gonna come up. We'll do a cool Wrestle Jitsu seminar. I want Issa to show his magic. That dude's one of the baddest dudes on the fucking planet.
Dude, he is. He's got
are you his Uki?
Yeah, often.
Okay, I'm just gonna critique it all the time. Uki sucks.
Yeah. Well, it sounds good. Well, for that, and then just in general, I'd love to come down more. I do love learning from you, and I love.
You've inspired me doing this.
Oh yeah, dude, it's fun. Yeah,
you've inspired me.
Yeah, dude, there's cheaper ways to do it too. Like it's there's a whole fucking range from.
No, I want a reason to spend money.
Yeah.
Dude, you did it right, bro. Everything sounds great, looks great.
Thank you.
I'm super stoked you have me on.
I appreciate it. Well, you want to like shout out any socials or anything?
No, I mean,
come train 10th Planet Tucson.
Yeah, come train at 10th Planet Tucson. We're okay.
Nice.
If you want to come wrestle, we got the best jiu-jitsu wrestling in Arizona.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate
Follow me on
you guys both
Instagram at Birchak MMA. You got Bryan Scambler at Bryan Scambler. SCAMBLER.
Feet Finder handle.
Feet Finder handle. Yep.
Yeah. You got one of those.
Sticky Pete with the feet.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thank you.